Cool.
We're going live. We're live.
We are live.
We are in what they call cyberspace. Do you remember cyberspace?
I remember thinking of it in terms of things like Tron and Lawnmower Man.
Oh, Lawnmower Man. I need to watch that. I did buy the Blu-ray of that. They made a point that it's based on a Stephen King short story, and the movie has nothing to do with the short story whatsoever.
The fact is that neither was very good.
I want to see it, though, because, I like the actor who plays the Lawnmower Man. I forget what his name is. He's been in some good stuff. He was on Lost for a bit, too. He was on Lost. He was in one of my favorite horror movies, Planet Terror. I don't know if you ever saw that. He was the guy that owned the barbecue restaurant, remember?
I don't remember specifically, but I do remember Planet Terror, yeah.
He was in Psycho 3, and he played this, I don't know this actor's name, but he played this, drifter that Norman employs at Bates Motel, right? And then he finds out about Mother, right? And, at first when he thinks the police are going to discover the dried mother, and he's not there, and it's like, well, I guess they can't do anything. Then it turns out this guy, all right, Norman, I know your little secret, and he's hanging, and he has a mother in a lawn chair in one of the hotel rooms that he's hanging out with her, and he's like, so you're gonna have to start paying me this if you don't want the world to find out about her. And then Norman Bates snaps and murders the guy, and he starts screaming, "No one must know about her or what she's done." And that made me think. Norman Bates has a split personality, but both personalities are bad people.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, no doubt about it. Absolutely.
And even the show Bates Motel kind of touched on that. Norman is not really that good a guy either. He's not as...
No. No, yeah. The personality is unassuming. So you assume that personality is a good guy. He's not. He is not. The whole reason the whole dissociative identity disorder exists is because he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
And that's how it manifests, or at least that's how it's written.
I need to get back to reading the novel. I did start it. It was interesting. The setup was a little different in the novel. Similar things with marrying Frank, running away with the money.
Right.
But the reason she couldn't marry Sam was different. It wasn't because he was getting divorced, because he was in a lot of debt and he wanted to get out of debt before he married her. And then I thought she might have. I don't know if she thought the money would have been a solution.
Absolutely,
sure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But welcome everybody to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Aged Boomer. This is my co-host, Pacelli.
Hello.
With his Godfather-like image there.
Yeah. No wonder why that would be.
Why don't they listen to the Godfather?
Yeah.
Mark Malikoff, Kapla. I've landed here first. I claim this space in the chat for the Klingon Empire. I remember
if you hadn't, I would have.
Remember that wonderful episode of Doctor Who when it was during the Pertwee era when the Centauran ship lands on Earth in the Middle Ages, and he puts out the flag and he says, "I claim this planet, its moons, and its satellites for the greater glory of the Centauran Empire," and you realize it's medieval times.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
Yes. Welcome FKHC 2005, otherwise known as Tim, right?
Yep.
Welcome, Big Al. Have a great show, geezers, and God bless everyone for a safe week ahead. I'm telling you, it's like you can't even play a game of golf anymore. Too soon?
Yeah.
Too soon? No, I'm sorry. No. Okay. Ridiculous, man.
I think it's absolutely true.
Welcome, Chris P. Age Boomer, good evening, gents. Have a great stream. Is Boomer sporting a beard now? He may or may not be. You'll never know. I've been told to start a beard, but I'm a redhead. Some of us Irish descent guys, we can't grow facial.
Well, how much of the beard have you seen? Have you let it grow in enough to see if it's really red?
I haven't. I guess I could try sometime.
Because
maybe if I have a week off, I'll try.
Mine is now almost completely white.
Interesting. No,
my eyebrows are dark. When my hair comes in, it's kind of a mix, and my beard is all white.
I don't. Oh, good question. Do I have any gray in the facial hair? I should start looking at that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll let it grow a couple days.
You'll have to let it grow almost a week before you can start looking and saying, yeah, it looks all white, or, oh, there's some red there.
Horizon Talker, welcome. Missed the last week's live due to a writer's group, like the new art for the show. Looks very good. Who did you get to do it? That would be Monsieur Pacelli here.
That would be me with the a little bit of help from the from AI, and I do mean a little help because although I started off with something that I got from Midjourney, I did an unbelievable amount of manual work on it.
Yeah. So yeah, but I welcome Netter of Netter's Network, and I think I got a hi, sweetie, from her. Yes, I do. Thank you.
I think everyone got a hi, sweetie, from her.
That's fine. You know, the Netter's here for everyone, and we appreciate her. Lady Miss, welcome.
Yep.
Thank you. Let me see what else we got here. Let me scroll down. Coppola, that's Troy Pacelli. Welcome. Yep. Anyway,
hello.
I gotta stop. Is that getting old on Twin Peaks? I need to come up with another.
No. It's every now and again. It's worth throwing in there. Kind of like the flappy, tidbits.
I was at a Perkins today. I almost asked if they had cherry pie, but I decided not to. I thought about it. I got a BLT with some onion rings and a Barks root beer.
Sounds good to me.
I gotta tell you, if you're ever in a diner and you're a little nervous about what to order, if you like BLTs, order a BLT because it's a hard thing to mess up.
It is. You're right. You're absolutely right.
But howdy all. I will be on a panel, but I want to leave a comment here. I am hoping to catch the end and watch it on the rewatch. Have a great stream and eat fewer cats.
Yes. Now I am really surprised that people have not taken that and made some serious more adult jokes, about Trump. Trump was just, people would just get upset because Trump wanted to grab him but the other side wants to eat him.
There's so many. I had jokes too, but it might be too bad taste for the stream. Maybe I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
It's like Jessica Hardo, welcome. And I'm trying to feel what else. I mean, not feel. I'm not going to feel anyone up here. That'd be weird. Okay, JPRPH1. I just got demonetized now, but it's okay. Never mind. JP, not that I have money. Get money anyway. Jeff Fahey, thank you. I don't know if it's because I'm older, for just when you're live on stream, you can't think of names. But
that's a big part of it.
He's a great actor. He's an underrated actor. I wish. He's been in a lot of stuff though, so I shouldn't say he's not been in anything. But eat more flappy, don't eat cats. Well, don't say that's to certain ducks. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah. I gotta stop.
Well, keep in mind, Hecklefish would say, "Fear the crab cat." So
on the bright side, maybe I can start practicing voodoo now, right?
Yeah, exactly. Hail Zootopia.
I'm telling you that was a thing, a movie that you could make a movie about, would be The Making of Serpent in the Rainbow. Yikes.
Oh yes. Yes.
The making of that had
the making of elements. Was almost as horrifying as the movie itself.
There were some scary scenarios they ran into there. Yeah, while filming that. Mark Malikoff, I think did I say hi to everybody yet?
Nope, you didn't say hello to Rod Thunderheart.
Rod Thunderheart, thank you. I keep thinking he's a wrestler.
He was a wrestler.
Okay, there you go.
Did you know that? No,
yes, I think I tuned into that stream. Yes, okay. Or at least I caught on the reel. Rod Thunderheart, welcome. I don't know.
Sachi's here.
I think welcome Sashi from the other side of the world. Welcome.
He says, "Can't you guys go a minute without an assassination attempt?"
It's getting really bad, man. I don't know. Ray, Rod Thunderheart. Who else? Leia plus size. Welcome.
Welcome. Wow, we've got a full team
Enigma
here.
Severus. Well, Deleted Scene sent a lot of his people over here. Thank you, Deleted.
You guys are all so awesome. My gosh, it's a Jesse Green.
Jesse Green, welcome.
Gosh, you guys all here tonight.
All right. So here we are.
Don't know how long Sashi can stick with us, because I think it's early in the morning for him. He's probably got work soon, but
let's bring up the presentation.
Absolutely.
Where we always talk about the good
old days. What are we going to talk about for the good old days, Uncle Boomer?
Conan the Barbarian, the movie.
Love the original Conan the Barbarian. Yeah,
not the remake.
Now, I am in no way, shape, or form nearly as well versed in this as, like, for example, Andre from Midnight's Edges.
He loves the Conan.
There are some great streams over there that he has done specifically about Conan, the history of Conan, behind the scenes on Conan. you should check it out.
I recently did order the Arrow Blu-ray re-release of this, so I should be getting that in the mail tomorrow.
Oh, cool,
that's
cool.
what sparked this conversation, because James Earl Jones. I'm like, you know what? Let's order Conan. I got a discount on it. Yeah, because I have the original DVD that came out back in the day, but that was back in '98. Maybe it's time for an upgrade at this point. But Thief, Warrior, Gladiator, King. That artwork was actually drawn by Frank Frazetta for the poster. Did you know that? Who did a lot of Conan artwork?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Love the Conan, love the comic books. Yes, I have a whole bunch of Conan comics. Deleted scene. Soundtracks and Birdman got me of one of the newer runs. I need to sit down one day and read them. Big Conan fan. Read many of the short stories. This is the movie though we're talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
There's Arnold. I want to say this is Arnold's first big hit. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentations of their women. When he's asked what is best in life. What is best in life? This is now originally this was being scripted by Oliver Stone of all people.
Wow, cool.
But his was going to be a bit different. I think it was going to take place like in a post-apocalyptic type scenarios where Conan was fighting mutants or something. But at least that's what I'd heard. When John Milius, the director, took over the project, he set it back in the original Hyborian age that the stories took place in.
Right.
So basically, Earth before a great cataclysm hit and all the continents drifted apart. There were civilizations that existed that were eerily like civilizations that came later. Like instead of Indians, you had Vendians. Instead of what do you call it? Instead of Norsemen, you had Northmen. And instead of Celts, you had Sumerians, which of course is what Conan is supposed to be. I think they made him more like a Norse type character in this movie, though. But whatever. Considering back in the early '80s, if you like heroic fantasy movies, you had slim pickings, especially quality ones.
Although the success of this really did lead to kind of an outgrowth and a birth of these kinds of like knockoff films.
I think it was this and Excalibur. Those were the two big fantasy pictures that came out. Maybe we'll do Excalibur next week. But this is a great movie. Still holds up well. That pick is from The Destroyer. Why do you have to ruin my stream? Moving on. James Earl Jones is the villain. Thulsa Doom. Movie.
Now I want a 7-Up.
Why?
He was the one who did the Uncola commercials. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Never had it, never will.
He did everything. But there we go. He plays Thulsa Doom, a sorcerer and cult leader in this picture, who in the beginning of the picture, he invades Conan's village as when he's a child. His father, the blacksmith, gets killed in a rather horrible way. He gets an axe thrown in his back, and then 2 armored Rottweilers hop on him and I guess maul him to death. That's a bad way to go. His mother gets killed in front of him.
Oh yeah, she lost her head,
and she's trying to defend him. And then Conan, he gets sold into slavery with all the other children, and the town's burned. And
you got to, that slavery scene was actually brilliant because they did this great transition of time from him as a child to an adult, showing him being tied to that stone that he was walking, and a bunch of people, a bunch of slaves being
forced. It was called the Wheel of Death or something.
And over time, the groove in the ground was getting deeper and deeper, and everyone around him died, and he was the last man standing. And then you see Arnold Schwarzenegger, all big and buff, still pushing that damn wheel.
And then finally he gets bought and sold. And then I think the director, John Milius, in the commentary says, well, what happens now? Well, they're going to get more people to now turn the wheel now and start over again.
Exactly.
But there's James Earl Jones. I mean, he's known as Darth Vader, but this was his other big villain moment was in this movie. Kind of inspired by Jim Jones, actually.
Kind of makes sense,
But what's cool about this movie is there's magic in this movie, but they don't overdo it. It's more like it's part of the regular world. Because you don't see, you see one scene with him kind of morphing into a snake to escape, but it's very slow and methodical. This is from Conan, right? Not from The Destroyer. This is when they're kind of in camouflage to go stealing some stuff.
Right.
Yeah, Conan eventually does gladiatorial stuff, and then finally some guy breaks him free. Look, you're free. Get out of here. And he falls into this cave where there's this old king buried, and he finds this sword, and he just starts kills some wolves, wears their skins, gets freaky with a witch woman who also turns into a werewolf, and then spirit thing that flies off in the breeze.
I mean, that is a great scene, right? Because she's like on top of him, and she turns, and he just freaks, and he picks her up and throws her onto the fire. It's like,
and then she turns into some kind of spirit thing and flies off. She was not of the natural world.
Absolutely, right.
You'll notice in Conan books, magic is something not to be trusted.
Exactly.
He doesn't like magic, though sorcerers do exist, but they're not always. Of course, he does make friends with a wizard in this movie, played by Mako.
Yeah,
and there's his companions. We have Valeria, right? That's his what John Milius referred to as his in Viking lore. What do they call the Valkyrie? His Valkyrie goddess.
Okay.
Yes.
I was gonna say shield maiden, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, I guess now she's a shield maiden. There's Sabatai, thief, and archer. Look at that. So they go and what else are you going to do in this world but steal?
And tell me this did not inspire a whole generation of D&D players.
Oh,
this was like what? You had your barbarian, you had your archer, you had your female fighter. Absolutely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was Greyhawk inspired by this whole Hyborian world, that D&D world?
D&D, all of D&D took from everything.
Okay.
All the orcs and goblins and stuff absolutely came from Tolkien, the elves and the dwarves and so forth. But yeah, there was a lot that came from Conan.
Conan and other.
In fact, there was a licensed, at least one licensed module. I don't know if it was a whole campaign setting or whatever, but there was a campaign. Or there was a module that was specifically a licensed Conan module.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that's worth a pretty penny now. Yikes.
Yeah, but then again, you could probably find a PDF of it online if you just wanted to play.
You know what? Thank goodness for PDFs,
right?
And cheap printers and binders and hole punchers. That's all I'm going to say to y'all in the chat. Not going to suggest you do anything, but there's Sandal Bergman, right? As Valeria.
Yup.
And look at Sabatai with his.
I did love that bow, and that's basically just an off the rack longbow. Probably fiberglass or whatever, but that's okay because they tricked it out to look all cool and barbaric.
But they form a great little team here. They all have their different skill sets, right? And Mako, I forget what the wizard's name was, but he plays a wizard in this.
Yeah.
And he ends up being the guy chronicling him at the beginning of the movie, saying, before the oceans drank Atlantis and after the rise of the sons of Ares or something like that, there was a age undreamed of. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And it's like, you want to know more about what is he talking about?
And there's a lot of people that still believe that, the days of Atlantis and this basically prehistory, that there were cultures that existed before the ones we know. And look, you can't say that they didn't exist because the fact is, before a certain time, nothing would still be around anymore. Yeah. There is a limit to how far back archeology can,
or our history goes. I mean, exactly. I never understood why Doctor Who never attempted to do this. Go back to ages that weren't chronicled on human history, make stuff up. Because there's stuff. Who knows what civilizations existed? If I'm going according to the Lensman Chronicles, Atlantis and Mu were highly advanced human civilizations that got destroyed by evil alien interference.
Big Al's letting us know it's Akiro the wizard, and Jesse was saying that he remembers seeing a Conan the Barbarian. Bunch of Conan the Barbarian stuff at a flea market. He thinks there was a board game. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there was a board game too.
Oh wow, I would have went nuts for that stuff because I was a kid. I knew of this movie. I was a little too young to watch it. I think I saw its sequel. I don't think I saw this movie till a few years when it was on TBS or something. I finally watched it all the way through. This was Conan was always something I wanted to get into growing up. But it was hard finding proper Conan stuff. The original Robert E. Howard stories were not heavily printed. And I think it was finally when I joined the science fiction book club that I got a release of some Conan. Conan stories. You remember the science fiction book club, don't you?
I do. Netter and I got a lot of books from. We were just talking last night about the Brian Herbert and whoever Anderson that did the follow-up books to Dune. And I had gotten several of them from the science fiction book club. And unfortunately, from what I was finding out from Thade, I got the wrong ones. I got the worst of the worst three of all of them.
Interesting. Akiro the Wizard. Okay. Yeah. And Mako was also the voice of Iroh in Avatar The Last Airbender.
Oh, that makes sense.
Haven't watched that cartoon. I used to watch Samurai Jack, where he played the evil demon Aku in that series. I mean, we have tons of evidence that giants exist. People don't want to accept it.
Sure.
I know. I mean,
Big Al said he got the same books from the science fiction book club that you were referring to. Let me say something. We could almost do.
I'll say this: I like the lady on the cover of that Conan book. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, sorry.
We could almost do good old days about the science fiction book club. One of the things I liked about the science fiction book club was if you went to your local bookseller, you could get the what's it called, the hardcover and the paperback version. If you got the hardcover from the science fiction book club, it was a little bit smaller. It was a little bit. It wasn't like it was an abridged version or anything.
No, it was just a smaller size. That was the distinction from books being sold in a bookstore. Yes,
and I liked that. And I, of course, then you'd have the problem if you got one or two books from the bookstore, and then you got the rest from the science fiction book club. They didn't match.
I used to work at a national maybe a regional book chain. I'm not going to say which one. And people would try to bring those, and I lost my receipt. Can I get mine? I'm like, I know this is a book club book. It's not the same size, but we had to honor it. Give them a credit. I thought that was BS. That's why you companies lose money. You let the customers get away with murder. Okay. Anyway, Jesse Gajardo, there was a Star Wars club at my school,
and he got a kick out of. No. Not knowing anything about sequel books series after the Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Oh, well, there we go. Here we go. We have Conan. There's a lot of good stuff in this. There's magic in this. I first see this wizard, and I think he's maybe a hustler, right?
Right.
He's just some guy that says No, he does know magic.
Yeah.
Because he has to do this thing where Conan's like on the verge of dying, like he got struck with a poison magic arrow or something, and like. Well, I'll do some prayers to whatever his god is, and when the demons start attacking him to drag him down, you're going to have to fight him off. And then when he's lying on there, you actually see demon spirits crawling on him, and Valeria trying to bring them off. And I think there's going to be a cost for her saving his life that way.
Exactly,
right? There's going to be a price that, of course, she gets, because of course they were lovers in this movie too, and she unfortunately meets her end, and that really gets him angry. And he, I don't want to spoil too much of the movie, though. I do like that princess girl in the background there.
Yeah.
She's the one that keeps saying, "He will finish you." Remember that? She was.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, man. I don't want to say what happens to Thulsa Doom in this, but it's perfect. I do happen to like the director's cut a little better. It doesn't change too much of the movie, but it extends the ending a little bit, where you get to see Conan actually... after he takes care of Thulsa Doom, the movie just ends in the original version. Everyone leaves slowly, and then he takes up one of the fire pit things and throws it at the temple, and the temple catches fire. Amelia says he's not a hero up until this point. He's a thief, and he's a guy seeking revenge. Now, at this point, he's there because he's extinguishing an evil in this world. That's what happens. And I thought, okay, that makes sense. And it doesn't really detract. It's not like some of these director's cuts where don't do them, please.
Yeah.
But this one actually worked. And I think you can catch both versions on that later release Blu-ray. But
Jesse makes a great point. I'm sad we never got.
Well, that's because a certain actor ran for governor. They had a script planned.
Yep.
Elias wanted to come back to direct it. He even had a thing. It was going to be weird from what I read. It was going to have, for starters, Sandahl Bergman was going to be back in it because Conan becomes king. All right. And he runs into her as like a barmaid, and like she'll look exactly like Valeria if Valeria was the same age of Conan at that point. Right. If you read the books, Conan was in his 50s when he became king, so it actually makes sense. Yeah, that he would have that Arnold could play that part as an older Conan as the king. Yeah, but we didn't get that, and I don't want them doing it now because now we're past the point. We did get that Jason Momoa movie, which was Conan the Barbarian. It didn't follow the plot of this, which I'm fine with because you just should have based it on different stories. Right. It was okay. I gave points for them casting him because I thought how he looked in that movie. That's how he looked in a lot of the Frank Frazetta paintings, actually. Right. So I understood his casting as that, but it didn't quite come together for me, the remake. I wanted to like it more than it did. It even had one of my favorite actresses or one of my screen crushes in it.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
I don't know either. I forgot what her name is now, but never mind here. This happens when you're live. Jason Momoa's 2011 wasn't that good and extremely forgettable. It was, unfortunately. Yeah. It didn't have to be, but
I do like. Okay, it wasn't a remake, and it could have. You got to treat Conan just like James Bond and every other thing. Just recast it, keep telling stories.
Yeah, and that's what Milius wanted to do. He thought this could have been like an American James Bond series. Arnold could have come back every couple of years and done another one. But what happens? It's Hollywood. That's what happens.
Yep.
Exactly. Rachel Nichols, that's her name. Yeah, she was she doesn't get naked in it though, so don't get too excited. Anyway, I'm not going to say. Anyway,
I mean that is the first thing you think of when you think Conan, but this is more modern Conan.
No, they're. I mean, aesthetically, it kind of matched, but I don't know. What about the animated movie series of Conan the Barbarian? Are you talking about the animated series on regular, the cartoon series they did of Conan the Barbarian? I saw a few episodes. I liked what I saw. They, of course, had to tone it down because it's a kid's series. But it had a lot of the staples of like 80s animation. Like, he had like the goofy animal companion, which was actually a phoenix he discovers. But I liked, at least on this cartoon, his first impulse when he sees the phoenix and the phoenix starts talking is to try and kill it. But there were good things about it. The trouble is he couldn't. It was serpent people disguised as humans. And when he would kill the guys, their spirits would go back to their home dimension. Instead of just being able to kill
Jesse's
people. But
asking,
for what it wasn't bad. Yeah.
Jesse says, nerds, what is best in life? I'll tell you. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and watch their women get naked.
I'm thinking about a new animated movie series. I'm not sure what you're talking about, that they should do one. They plan to do one. Universal had like pre-production stuff on this. They were going to do an adaptation of the last Conan story written by Robert E. Howard, Red Nails. And it was even going to have Mark Hamill was even going to lend a voice as one of the villains in it, but it never ended up materializing because they were going to do it, I think, as an R-rated animated direct-to-video feature, or at least PG-13. But we didn't end up getting it. But they had it in the works. This was back in the early 2000s, but it just didn't.
Someone should do it in the Ralph Bakshi style,
like with the rotoscoping. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian could have been a cool series. Well, it was in the movie UHF, right? But yeah,
right.
That's the thing. You're watching UHF and you're thinking some of these series look better than most of the series on TV right now.
Yeah, that's the crazy Wheel of Fish.
My favorite was Raoul's Wild Kingdom. Remember that?
Yes.
And he's throwing the poodles out, and then Weird Al looks at his friend and he says, "Where did you find this guy? I thought you hired him, or you found him." And it's like, I wasn't even airing. It's like, But yeah, that's Conan the Barbarian, classic movie. James Earl Jones plays a great villain in it. I bring that up because, of course, we have to talk about James Earl Jones tonight.
Absolutely,
which leads into there's our Visage.
Yes,
and James Earl Jones is no longer with us. I don't know if you had a chance. You were probably busy. I sent you a clip from that Robin Williams movie.
Oh, I may have missed that.
Okay, yeah, it's The Angriest Man in Brooklyn. There's a scene where he has to go and buy a camcorder real quick, and like. James Earl Jones is the guy owning the shop, and he has a stutter. He keeps going, "Would you like the Fuji?"
Yeah,
and like he has trouble with the word F. And then Robin Williams, because he wants his camcorder fast, he finally gets angry. He says, "Well, how much for the camera? He finally does that.
Yeah.
And then James Earl Jones says back to him, fuck you. That's what he said.
Yeah.
It was, I'm sorry, I laughed. It was a very slow bit, but that was funny. That was James Earl Jones in that scene. I have to watch that movie.
You know, he really did. In his youth, he did have a stutter.
He did. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, good on him for. I know that's a hard thing to overcome.
And it did. It took him a long time to get over it. Yeah.
I think I had a speech impediment when I was a child. I had to take go for some kind of speech therapy. I used to say things like, instead of Pop-Tart, I would say Pody-Tart. Oh, you think that's funny, actually. Do you?
No, I think it's cute. I like that. I
wasn't always this eloquent speaker you hear in front of you.
I could totally see that becoming part of my regular lexicon. I like that.
All right. James Earl Jones, the revered actor who voiced Star Wars villain Darth Vader, starred in Field of Dreams and many other films and Broadway shows, and is an EGOT winner. Died this morning at his home in Dutchess County, New York. He was 93. His reps at Independent Artist Group confirmed the news to Deadline. Widely regarded as among the world's great stage and screen actors, Jones is one of the few entertainers to have won the EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. Through his Academy Award was honorary. Jones has received too many... Okay, this is going to be becoming a jumbled mess. Okay. The actor amassed nearly 200 screen credits during his brilliant 60-year career, starting some early 60s TV guest roles in Stanley Kubrick's 1964 classic Dr. Strangelove, How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. I forget that's the full title.
That's the full title, yeah, exactly.
He probably is best known for his voice role as the dastardly Darth Vader in George Lucas's original Star Wars. That I remember the line in that movie when Luke says, "That dastardly Darth Vader."
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, no.
He also reprised the villainous role in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when he asks, "Where's Padme?" Remember that?
No.
And then in one of the later cuts, I think Lucas picked that same no and used it when he thinks Luke is about done. He throws the Emperor down the tube. Remember?
Yeah.
So dumb. I'm sorry, Lucas. Leave it alone. Okay, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, 2016. Yeah, he was in that. Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, and TV's Obi-Wan Kenobi and Star Wars Rebels. Yeah, he did. He did the voice on Rebels. I forgot that. Yeah, he came back for that. That was when I was so hopeful for Disney Star Wars.
What's interesting is unlike Anthony Daniels, literally any licensed Star Wars use of C-3PO's voice, it is Anthony Daniels. I don't care if it's a record book, I don't care if it's a cartoon, a commercial, whatever it is, Anthony Daniels does that voice. That wasn't always true with James Earl Jones, and you could tell.
Yes.
I mean, and let's face it, the Darth Vader voice is not too difficult to emulate.
Yeah.
But there's something that is 100% James Earl Jones that can't be completely duplicated.
In some of the games, they would have a different actor because they couldn't get James Earl Jones for the games. Also, in the radio production, it's not James Earl Jones voicing Darth Vader. And who was the actor that played him physically in the Star Wars movie?
David Prowse.
I often think that the voice actor in the radio show sounds like how David Prowse would have done the character. It's a little more over the top. I like it. But it's not as menacing as James Earl Jones' voice. It's good in its own right. I'm not going to pick on the radio actor because if you can't do Darth Vader, do your own thing, okay? But it's I mean, you can't do James Earl Jones, do your own thing. But movie fans will remember such chilling immortal Vader quotes as, "When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. I found your lack of faith disturbing." Does that sound like him with my hand over my mouth?
Kinda,
Let's move on. Also among Jones's best lovers is Terrence Mann, the reclusive 1960s author who reluctantly teams up with Kevin Costner's Ray Kinsella to unlock the latter visions of baseball lore in Field of Dreams, based on 1982 novel Shoeless Joe. The film from writer-director Phil Alden Robinson tugged, no yanked at heartstrings with its sweet nostalgia, high-concept pilot, father-son dynamics, and general excellence. That was Kevin Costner is in that, right?
Yep.
It earned 3 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. It lost to Drive Miss Daisy, a film whose Broadway adaptation starred Jones as Hoke Colburn, the character played by Morgan Freeman on the big screen. Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
It's kind of like when Julie Andrews didn't get the part in My Fair Lady.
Right.
And she was going to play her on Broadway, but then wins the Oscar that year for Mary Poppins.
Right.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. But it earned 3. Okay, so let me see. Jones also voiced the Lion King's Mufasa in both the 1994 animated pick and the 2019 hybrid remake.
Do you like I like the way they put that. Yeah, the way they put that.
They don't like it.
Because
just
they're,
say you don't like
basically saying it's not really live action.
They don't know what to call it. They don't know what to call it because it was still animated.
I think hybrid is perfectly viable. Yes.
Yeah. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Except a dystopian sci-fi movie, which we're all living at the moment.
Kind of.
Anyway, though, he was in Conan the Barbarian. He was in Soul Man. Yikes.
Oh, that's right. He was.
You're going to do that for your rewatch on Monday night?
Eventually, I will. I have that movie on DVD. I love that movie.
Oh, wow. Patriot Games. Oh, that's right. He was the guy who his mentor for Jack Ryan. Yeah. Sneakers, Sandlot, Clear and Present Danger, Judge Dredd, gang related. He might have done a voiceover in Judge Dredd. I don't think he was in the movie though. I think he did a voiceover, like explaining what the future was like.
Possibly.
Coming to America, the latest one. And he lent his sonorous voice to the famous "This Is CNN" promo campaign from the cable news network. And
actually, you know, the Simpsons did a great one about James Earl Jones, where I can't remember exactly what led to it, but seeing these faces in the sky, and it was Luke, I am your father. Simba, I am your father. This is CNN.
Yes, and that was him doing the voice. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Oh, he had guest roles on The Big Bang Theory, House, 2.5 Men, Homicide: Life in the Street. I remember Homicide: Life in the Street. He was the one they suspected was a murderer, but he was a big inspiration to the Black community because he was a businessman. He started like a Hostess style cake company.
Mm-hmm.
So and he was like, he did a lot for the community. They didn't want him to be the murderer. Do you understand? It was one of those things. Touched by an Angel, Lois and Clark, the new adventures of Superman. Who was he on that?
I don't remember. I actually need to go back and rewatch that series. I love that series, but it's been so long.
Picket Fences, Law and Order, Sesame Street, Highway to Heaven, NYPD Blue, Daytime Subs, Guiding Light, and As the World Turns, and the miniseries Roots, The Next Generation, and Jesus of Nazareth. Okay.
In fact, in Roots, he plays the Alex Haley analog, right? Isn't he the one that is supposedly narrating it or whatever?
I think so. Who was he in Jesus of Nazareth? Was he one of the three kings like Balthasar or something like that? I think that's who he was.
Again, that's a fuzzy memory. I can't remember.
But he was nominated for lead Oscar in The Great White Hope, 1971, and was given an honorary Oscar at the 2012 ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, we're going to miss him.
Absolutely.
He had a great career. And I wish him the best in the hereafter.
And an incredible voice. I mean, he will be remembered, if nothing else, for his voice. Just amazing.
Oh, no. Unfortunately, we'll be hearing James Earl Jones voice many things because Disney owns his digital voice. Well, maybe they do, or they're just saying they do. I'm kidding. That'll be later. Okay.
We'll talk more about, issues related to that. That's coming.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I know you don't.
I don't like
That's
it.
immediately as soon as I saw it, I'm like, we got to talk about this on Geeky Geezers.
I don't
love this one.
Luke, take that mask off. That doesn't matter now. Let me look at you with my own eyes. Yes, I remember that. That was kind of sad. You felt bad for Vader in that moment, remember?
Yeah, but in a very bittersweet way, right? It's like, okay, he's not Darth Vader anymore, right?
Yeah, he's Anakin Skywalker again.
Yeah.
But of course, that's why he would look like Hayden Christensen as a ghost, even though he turned back to Anakin Skywalker.
Jesse says that.
I'm sorry, I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It does. It takes away that whole.
Don't get me started.
That whole redemption thing. It's like he's got to go all the way back to before he became Darth Vader. That thing at the end that he does that basically saves the universe and brings balance to the Force. That doesn't count. You know.
I heard rumors of stuff Abrams wanted to do. One of them was that there would have been a Force Ghost Anakin, but also a Force Ghost Vader, which would have been kind of interesting.
Kind of interesting, yeah. That's not actually,
that there would have been, maybe there's two, but now I'm thinking the Acolyte now, so never mind. Who said what? Who repeat the line? I must have missed it.
I was starting to say that Jesse said that James Earl Jones did a behind the scenes for the first Jurassic Park film that's hard to find now.
Oh, excellent! They probably have to pay him rights, so they don't want to put him on any of the DVDs. That's what happens.
And Big Al confirms what you suspected, that he played
he was Balthazar the Wise Man. That's a great miniseries, the Franco Zeffirelli Jesus of Nazareth. Have you ever seen it?
I actually don't remember if I have or not.
It was from the 70s. It was it was a good adaptation.
Actually, then I probably did see it, and I probably actually saw it in school. To be honest with you, I went to a Catholic.
It had the same actress that played Juliet played Mary in it. Actually,
I absolutely did see it in school,
which makes sense because he worked with her before.
There you go.
Now I'm thinking something weird. Okay, never mind. Okay, Enigma, I want to be a Force Ghost. Yes. Well, apparently you have to be at a certain level to be a Force Ghost, and not even Qui-Gon Jinn can become a Force Ghost. Oh wait, now he is one because Disney says so. Exactly. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Everybody becomes a Force Ghost. Hell, you don't even have to be Force sensitive to be a Force Ghost based on Disney.
1977 miniseries. That might be something to talk about someday on the good old days. The 1970s miniseries.
maybe it'll be an Easter watch party. We'll have to think about it.
It's a long one, I got to tell you. You're gonna have to do that in like 4 parts, or maybe at least two parts. But it's a good one. Execute Order 66.
Execute Order 66.
I don't like that Emperor guy. He's not good.
He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
You're bad. That's what I would say if I met him. Yeah. Other deaths this week. Peter Renaday, original Teenage Ninja Turtle voice actor, dies at 89.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a long life, though. I mean, it's not. It's nothing to scoff at.
Well, anyway. Voice actor Peter Renaday, known to fans worldwide for his role as the original voice of Master Splinter in the Teenage Ninja Turtles cartoon series, has died. He was 89 years old. Per TMZ, law enforcement officials discovered Renaday at his Burbank, California home while carrying out a welfare check on Sunday. He was found deceased when police arrived, and it's believed that his death was from natural causes. Renaday's niece, Mindy Zachary, said that her uncle's air conditioning had been out recently and temperatures inside his home had reached the 90s. That's not good for you. It's unclear if the heat directly contributed to Renaday's death, but the family reportedly doesn't feel that any further investigation is necessary. I mean, where is this? California? I guess it's so hot out there. If it's like Florida, I would at least crack a window open. But yeah, it can become brutal this time of year in Florida. I mean, we lost our air one weekend. It was not pleasant.
It's a sad fact, but in a way, kind of morbidly interesting. Apparently, it's a very common cause of death for the elderly, heat related, because you begin to have difficulty, not only for your body to regulate body temperature, but for you to feel uncomfortable. You just lose that sense, and then you can overheat. Yeah.
No, I hope he didn't go in a bad way. As an actor, though, Renaday was best known for providing the voice of Master Splinter in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the widely celebrated animated series that helped launch a massive franchise that remains ongoing. Renaday voiced Splinter from the show's debut in 1987 until the show's series ended in 1996. He was able to take part in the franchise's famous TMNT Coming Out of Their Shells touring concert event, with his Splinter voice being used for the spoken portions of the show. Have you ever seen the Oprah Winfrey Teenage Ninja Turtles on the Oprah Winfrey show?
No, I haven't.
Oh no. Apparently they cut a music album. They were doing tours with them singing music from this album, and I
vaguely remember the album. Yes,
they showed up on the Oprah Winfrey show. I'll send you a clip later.
Okay, sure.
There's funny during the show. The Shredder shows up, and he's like, he's just brutal in his comments. He keeps saying, "Why don't you call it Michelangelo and the Green Supremes?" And I chuckled at that. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
And they were wanting to fight him. He said, "Not here, man. Save it for the concert. Don't do it here."
That's
so
funny.
bad. Okay, many others would later take on the role of Splinter, with Jackie Chan playing a new version, 2023's Teenage Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which I have not seen and plan to never watch. Apparently, Tom from Midnight's Edge was not amused by that movie. You should listen to him talking about it.
Yeah. If Andre's my go-to for Conan, then Tom is absolutely my go-to for the Turtles. Yeah.
And I'm one of the weirdos that actually did like the last two newer versions that came out with the Turtle Bro characters, as I called them, bros in that. But I don't know. Some people hated those two. The quote unquote Michael Bay versions, which weren't really directed by Michael Bay, but he produced them. But Renaday also voiced the character Grapple on the Transformers animated series from the 80s. He later voiced multiple roles in animated DC shows like Superman the Animated Series, the new Batman Adventures, and Batman the Brave and the Bold. He notably voiced Howard Stark in the 1990s Iron Man series as well. His other TV credits include roles in G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, Animaniacs, Aladdin, Gargoyles, Sylvester and Tweety Mini Mysteries, Samurai Jack, Godzilla the series, and Angel. So he basically did everything. All right.
He kind of did, yeah. And this is why I feel very strongly about acknowledging voice actors. I think they tend to get overlooked, and you don't realize sometimes. Real quick, I want to say hi to some people that have dropped in, including Janice Zeal. Welcome. Of course, the Clue Channel. Sorry, man. I didn't know Frankie Beverly or the band Maze, so we don't have that one on the list.
Michael Bay, the dude from Mutant Ninja Turtles, Clue Channel. You say that like it's a bad thing. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you, if you guys,
I'm one of the few people that like those movies. I thought they were serviceable, but
if you have any issues with the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, just look up. I think it was called Nerdgasm. Jenny Lorenzo does this screed on the Michael. Oh, F you, Michael Bay.
What did she hate about Out of the Shadows, though? It was basically a live action version of the
She wasn't talking about films. This was when it was in production, and they were talking about calling it something else because they weren't going to be Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, they were planning to do a lot of changes.
She said, what is that going to be? Teenage Alien Ninja Turtles, which is one letter away from taint, which is the one thing you can suck, Michael Bay. And I don't even mean my taint. And she just goes off on this.
They were talking about making the Shredder an American white guy instead of a Japanese guy, which didn't make any sense to me. But they stopped that. I mean, we got, but anyway, it's a bad
I credit Jenny Lorenzo. I think they saw her video and they were like, shit.
Well, they're gone. They're dead and buried, Clue Channel. So you can blame yourself. Megan Fox's April was not good. Well, come on. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, she's got these weird thumbs and everything. Sorry.
No, just okay. Let's move on, though. I'll save my rant. Maybe one day I'll talk about the 90s Teenage Ninja Turtles movie.
And Jesse Green was getting a little bit ahead of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chad McQueen, as known as Dutch in the Karate Kid, has passed away. And Chad McQueen, who plays famed Dutch in the Karate Kid movie franchise, is dead. Teams he has learned. Chad died Wednesday at his ranch in Palm Desert, California, as a result of an organ failure, according to his longtime attorney Arthur Behrens. We're told that he had an injury a few years ago, which led to progressive organ failure and ultimately killed him. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it is.
Chad was with his children, his life partner, and his attorney when he died, Steve McQueen's only son. Chad is best remembered as Dutch in the 1984 hit The Karate Kid, reprising the role in the 1986 sequel, The Karate Kid 2. Chad is also known for his starring role in 1993 Power. Despite rumors, Chad did not reprise his Karate Kid role for the final season of Cobra Kai, his lawyer tells TMZ. He might have not been able to do it. Who did he play on Cobra Kai? Was he the one that became the minister?
No, I think he was the one that shows up in the deleted scene where they confront Daniel in the school about I don't remember what it was. It was deleted scene in front of a locker.
Was this from the series?
No. This was
I'm
from
talking about
who was he?
Who was he as the adult version of himself on Cobra Kai?
Oh, that I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't remember either. And yeah, but apparently he wasn't on the final season. He probably wasn't able to make the final season because of what's going on. But yeah,
Dutch was the crazy one. Darth Plato said. We're all kind of crazy.
I didn't know he was Steve McQueen's son, though. Yeah,
kind of looks like him though. Look at him.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, Dutch was the crazy one. Yeah, he was the one that liked doing this bad stuff. That's him having the incredulous thing. What,
yeah,
like he was the one. I think he got kicked out, didn't he? Yeah.
And by the way, welcome, Darth Plato. Thanks for being here.
Teenage Bootylicious Ninja Turtles female cast keep with the current trend. I'm not.
Didn't they try doing a female turtle at one point?
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, there was a live action turtle series which I just didn't watch. I'm like, no. But apparently there was a female turtle and she was named Venus, as in Venus de Milo.
Kind of makes sense, but that's not an artist.
I know it's not an artist.
That's kind of dumb.
They should have called her Frida. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
But then they'd have made her a lesbian. Well, that would have been on point, right, for modern day.
I think didn't Frida swing both ways, if I'm going by the movie with Arthur Molina in it. But anyway, I did not know he was a son. Okay. But twerking Ninja Turtles. Yeah, well, that'll be actually, I'll say that'll be at Disney, but who knows what Paramount has planned. I didn't even want to see that Seth Rogen monstrosity. Here's the thing with the Turtles. They're always hit and miss. But what can we say? We got some great recent video games.
Darth Plato says, I thought Troy was Dutch grown up. I was never blonde. I was never blonde.
Yeah. Go Ninja Go, best rap song for a superhero movie. That's true, but I did kind of like the Riddler rap song from Batman Forever too, which you can find on the album. Anyway.
I liked Bat Dance from the first one, but then I like anything Prince did.
Okay, so here we have Peter Cushing, who did not die recently. He died a ways back.
Yeah, this feels like the other shoe took a long time to drop. I remember us having a conversation about this.
We had a conversation about this.
You did not like it at all.
I did not like it. I had read articles at the time. Oh, but Disney got permission from the Cushing estate. And I'm like, okay. And maybe I misread something. Maybe this is my memory playing tricks on me, but I could have swore I read that when this movie came out. Like, how could they get Peter Cushing's visage on that? And it's like, because he didn't get permission for it. Because obviously when they have Carrie Fisher in here, Carrie Fisher was alive at the time. They're like, can we make a younger Princess Leia? Yes. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
The makers of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, are being sued over the image rights of actor Peter Cushing, whose image was resurrected for the 2016 film. Cushing, who passed away in 1994 from cancer, had played the character Grand Moff Tarkin in the original Star. Is it Grand Moff Tarkin or Grand Moff Tarkin?
Grand, Grand, Moff, okay. Moff. Grand Moff.
I just called him Governor Tarkin in that movie. Never mind.
Yeah, you can call him Governor Tarkin.
With these new names. Anyway, okay. In the original Star Wars A New Hope movie back in 1977, barring a small animated cameo in 2005's Revenge of the Sith and younger versions of the character voiced by Stephen Stanton, Tarkin had been mostly unused in the Star Wars universe following Cushing's passing. However, Rogue One opted to resurrect the character in Cushing's likeness for the critically acclaimed prequel starring Felicity Jones and Mickelson. Guy Henry appeared as Cushing's body double, while the late great actor's face was digitally reconstructed. Yeah, it didn't look CG at all. I'm sorry.
I mean, it was close. It was really close.
You say so. Anyway, the same film also used a digital recreation of a younger version of Carrie Fisher Princess. That was not close.
No, yeah, that one, and you could tell it was rushed.
Okay. There was this movie called Forrest Gump. and there was this episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine where they met the original crew members and the old-fashioned Klingons, and they had this great thing where they would take old footage and splice the new footage, and I don't know why we just don't do that as the effect. It can work. I'm sure there were plenty of Cushing outtakes that never mind. What do I know? I know. CG can fix anything. In 2017, John.
Well, in fairness, there have been a whole lot of these scenes where, like, the corridor crew come along and they take these scenes from these movies and they improve them. And you look and you go, obviously, CG can do so much better than what Disney is doing. Why does Disney suck so bad?
Well, I think part of the problem is I think a lot of these teams are under pressure to put too much out.
Yeah, they don't give them the time and the resources to do a good job.
Yeah.
Plus, they're so brutal with these people. The best of them go, screw you, I'm not doing it, and they quit.
Yeah.
And they got second stringers under ridiculous time restraints. And you get what you get.
You get Ant-Man, the latest Ant-Man.
Right.
In 2017, John Knoll, who served as visual effects supervisor in Rogue One, said Cushing would have given the green light. We weren't doing anything that I think Peter Cushing would have objected to. I think this work was done with a great deal of affection and care. He told Yahoo Movies. Peter Cushing was dead. You don't know what he would have said.
Yeah, that's right. That's just it. That's not going to hold up in court. Well, we think he would have. Well, his son says otherwise.
Now, one of Cushing's oldest, Kevin Francis, is claiming that the actor never gave anyone permission to reproduce his appearance via special effects without his prior authorization. The pair worked on a number of movies together, including The Ghoul, Legend of the Werewolf, and The Masks of Death. He claims that agreement was made between Cushing and himself in 1993 before the actor died while they were preparing to make a film called A Heritage of Horror, which was never completed. Yeah. Okay, so this was between him and Kevin Francis, his son, I guess, right? All right. The Times reports that on Monday, the 9th of September, the Disney Group, who owns the rights to Star Wars and made Rogue One, failed to have Francis's claims for unjust enrichment dismissed from the High Court. This means this is going to go to court. That's what that means.
Yes,
Francis's company, Tyborn Film Productions, has also brought forward claims against Rogue One producers Lunac Heavy Industries, as well as Cushing's agency and the executors of his estate. Lucasfilm have protested the case, claiming they didn't need permission to recreate Cushing's image when A New Hope was remastered in 1997, and that $37,000 was paid to his estate to clear the use of that appearance. They weren't CGing his appearance.
Exactly. They were his actual appearance. He was credited for it. He did the work. He got paid for it.
Yes. I mean, they were just, because it was a new version of the film, they paid, a nominal fee. But after dismissing Disney's appeal, High Court Judge Tom Mitchison said, I am also not persuaded the case is unarguable to the standard required to give summary judgment or to strike out. He added, an area of developing law, it is very difficult to decide where the boundaries might lie in the absence of full factual inquiry. So the judge wants us to investigate this.
Yep.
This will probably be a landmark case, actually.
I suspect that is the case. And here's the thing, like you said, CG can't fix Flappy. That is true.
And CGI give me a spouse. If you live in Japan, because they have those.
Well, here's the thing.
Have you seen these gatebox things in Japan? They're like these little anime girls, and they say, "Did you have a nice day at work?" It's like the character from Blade Runner 2049.
I had not, but I'm not.
And then the company was going to make versions of it for the Western market. And instead of these cute anime girlfriends, one of them looked, I don't want to say she looked like a Karen, but she didn't look cute like the anime girls. And the other was a guy. And I almost wanted the guy to be like a dude bro saying, hey, bro, why aren't you working out right now? Instead of it being.
Actually, that's probably not a bad motivator. It's like, bro. You need to be working out, man. Get to
I'm just saying, it's not what I want to see when I get home from work. If I don't have a significant other, I want my fake little girlfriend, whispering sweet nothings. Anyway,
but I'll tell you, the problem was that we were under the impression that there was some sort of an arrangement made with the estate. Keep in mind, your estate. Let me back up and give you a little armchair, non-lawyer, legal breakdown here. When you die, this is pretty much true for just about everything. Your rights go away. You no longer have rights. You're a dead body. You're not allowed to own anything. You can't sue. You can't nothing, right? But your estate can. And we can argue round and round about whether or not a group of people ought to be effectively a company, a conglomerate, is allowed to be a human being with rights in its own right. Take that up with Citizens United, but your family and descendants do get a say. And sometimes all those family members don't agree. And so who is in charge of your estate can be contested. You are on shaky ground if you have any kind of an agreement with an estate. You better have all your legal ducks in a row. No handshakes. I talked to Peter Cushing, before he died, and we had a wink and a nod and a handshake. Bullshit crap. In court, you better have a contract, and if that contract doesn't hold up, you have no ground to stand on. But this is kind of the way Disney deals with lawsuits, right? Well, we believe we're okay, so we want this thrown out. And the courts go, no, that ain't how it works. This is going to court. We're going to be doing some discovery, and you're going to pony up all the evidence. And if the evidence don't fly, your case don't fly, and you're going to be owing a lot of money to the estate.
Yes.
But that's also why it makes a huge difference that people like Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill and others have come up with, themselves did sign contracts to say, yes, I will record sounds for you so that you can use my voice in perpetuity for this much. I think it's foolish to do that. You're literally signing your life away for a firm amount. Maybe after a certain age, when you don't have many years ahead of you, maybe it's worth it to you. But
which I assume is what James Earl Jones did with his voice, probably.
I think he may have done. Yes, we may still be. Who else did this long before any of the Star Wars stuff started happening?
Ooh.
Major Barrett Roddenberry.
Interesting.
She went in and recorded. People may not realize this, but in order to, now it's a little different with AI. AI can fill in the blanks for you. But back in the day, you would have to go in and professionally have your voice recorded, and you would have to record every possible phoneme of your voice so that it could then be digitally altered and edited and stuff.
You know why I'm on board with that? Because she was literally playing the voice of the computer. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind if it sounds artificial.
And that is why she did, because interestingly, her intonation was in the intonation of the computer.
Yeah,
it would be hard for them to use her voice for anything other than a computer voice, and the fans just love it when they hear her voice on a computer voice. Oh yeah, that's just awesome. That's in fact, her voice is still used in Star Trek Online for the computer voice.
Okay.
So, but that was an agreement she made, and it's in perpetuity, and they've got the contract. No one's going to come and complain about that. It doesn't sound like that's what happened with Peter Cushing.
Why not just use a new actor to play him? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just
recast. You could have Governor take, just use a new actor. They had a new actor playing a younger version. I mean, you only saw him on screen briefly in the Revenge of the Sith. Just maybe get that guy back. Put a few years on him with makeup, and he could be your Cush. You could be your Governor Tarkin. You have two different actors playing Obi-Wan. I can make the leap. That this is Governor Tarkin.
We have a history of people being recast, and sometimes you look at the new actor and you go, man, that person really does look a lot like so and so or whatever the case is.
I mean, Ewan McGregor is as much Obi-Wan now as.
Well, we were able to accept that without a problem.
Yeah.
The thing is, when you try to screw around with it. You do the CG and it's not quite right. You get that uncanny valley, waxy look.
Yeah.
Or even worse, honestly, the guy in Revenge of the Sith that does the cameo shot, they put like prosthetic cheeks on him and stuff, and it's like, oh, that looks terrible. That just looked terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course I would. Okay, but anyway, my CGS spouse. Oh, never mind. Okay, we're talking about terms and agreements. I have to imagine that Amaranth is probably making a CG version of yourself that you can download on your computer. where she will probably take $300 out of your bank account each day while having a visage of you on screen of her stepping on your neck with her high heels, right?
Will the CGI image give you like CGI simulated bathwater too, and just
No, she wasn't bathwater. She was gas in jars. If I'm being
okay, I confused.
I'm gonna. Where's the FDA on this? What are you doing? Maybe they're shorthanded over there. That can't be legal.
Frankly, it's neither a food nor a drug. It's not being put out as either a food or a drug. So I'd like to see.
What if those gaseous forms had a certain disease in them? Come on, it's like I'm not saying what it is on air, Jesse. Oh boy.
Oh, here we go. Wait a minute.
Oh, I tried to find a picture of Iger looking sad, but he never looks sad. He always has that something grin on his face. Anyway, here we are. This is the big New York Times article. I will send the link, but I'm not going to read quotes from it because we'll be here all night.
Yeah.
The palace coup at the Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I think
it wasn't really a coup. It's like you name your son as king, and then you do everything to undermine him.
Suffice it to say that everything that our community has been saying about Chapek and Iger and all that, going all the way back. If you follow Midnight's Edge, Doomcock, Valiant Renegade, WDW Pro, that Park Place, all of them, we've known what was going on for the longest time, and it's just now that the mainstream media is starting to acknowledge
talking about it.
Yeah,
all the stuff they would call us. Oh, you're hating on Disney, and no, we're just trying to find out what's going on.
Darth Plato says Grand Moff Iger. Yeah, kinda right.
Horizon Talker. Well, have a good night, Horizon Talker.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah, the palace. Okay. Chapek. I feel sorry for Chapek, especially after reading this article. He made mistakes. I'm not saying he didn't make mistakes, but through this article, you see why he did them. For starters, he really didn't want to get involved in politics.
Right.
In fact, he was annoyed with Strange New World, but he couldn't cancel that project because it was already heavy underway by the time he took over leadership there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess he didn't sign on to something that all the other companies were doing, which I guess I forgot what her name was. Susan something, I think. She was telling him, oh, go sign on to this. This can sign to this thing. It's very mild. But then he decided, nah, we're not going to do that either. And then people were getting angry. But then they thought he went too far in the other direction when he was doing the apologies and going after the quote unquote don't say gay bill and all this. Exactly. And
well, he was trying to run it like a CEO, like a business. We don't want to alienate anybody. We do not need to be taking a stance on politics. It's just that simple.
I think he did screw up on streaming from what I read in the article. I am going to say this. It might have been a different story had the pandemic not happened. I think he thought, we're stuck in the pandemic. People aren't going to theaters. Let's put these movies we're going to put out in theaters on our streaming service to get people to subscribe.
Yeah.
But that turned out to be a big mistake, especially with the Scarlett Johansson thing. That was probably something he walked into that Iger would have realized, no, we can't do that. Iger probably would have known not to do that.
Well, this article, just to kind of sum it up, makes it very clear that Iger spent or sacrificed at least millions, potentially billions of dollars just to make himself look good and to make Chapek look bad.
Awful.
It's that simple.
I do want Chapek had a lot of bad people working under him too. Not everyone, but some of them were.
And clearly no backup from the people that were around and above him.
Yeah.
The business. I mean, a CEO that's not allowed to be on the board that's not the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And it was very clear that and actually, who did a great job on this. Midnight's Edge has a great video about this article specifically. It does kind of a nice rundown. I'd recommend you just go check it out.
Yeah.
But it points out that Iger, as CEO, didn't like doing all the work type stuff.
No, he didn't. He liked the smoozing.
He wanted to do the schmoozing and going to events and hobnobbing with celebrities. He wanted someone else to do all the work stuff. And what was unfortunate was that he put someone in charge that he thought would just be, just a paper pusher and doing whatever he said. No, this guy intended to be the CEO because he was the CEO. And ordinarily, you would have a board that would say, yeah, he's the CEO. What's the problem here? But no, everyone who was on the board was just puppets for Iger. They still are. And this is why you get what you get. I just want to point out, and I've done this before, and I will do it whenever I feel, it appropriate. I said back then, when a lot of people thought that Chapek was going to save Star Wars and he was going to save Disney and all this kind of stuff, I said, he's feckless. He doesn't have the power to do the things you think he can do. And then when he comes out with the apology tour,
that was a disaster.
The groveling, I said, he's feckless and useless, and he's done. And sure enough, they kicked him out. There was a certain other YouTuber, a cantina proprietor who banned me from the channel and blocked me on social media because when people don't like what you have to say, you're the problem, not the message itself. But once again, Troy was right.
The whole story is here. Okay.
Yep.
In the article, you can read it. It really looks like Chapek was played for a fool in many instances. His reputation got destroyed by this too. He'll never get this kind of power again. Some people thought he could technically probably try to sue Disney over this, but then that would look bad with his family, who have been big Disney supporters. So he's kind of stuck. He's on some board at some medical organization now, right? We mentioned that a few months back. But, was on the job for like 6 months, and he got sacked. Kathleen Kennedy ran Lucasfilm on the ground, and she's still employed.
Yep.
Make that make sense. I have no idea why there is radical heads rolling at Lucasfilm.
Exactly.
Right now.
You have to understand that they are operating on a completely different business model than any rational person would think. We keep assuming that a company wants to make money. This company does not. They are willing to shovel away billions of stockholder dollars to promote themselves and their ideologies. I can't think of a better model for socialism. That's exactly what this is. So when you understand that, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, so Iger apparently had his contract extended to the end of 2026. After that, he says he's out. I have a question. If you're going to be his next pick to take over, what would you do as far as laying down ground rules? I think the ground rules is, Iger, you're gone, period.
Yeah,
out.
Exactly.
I will not work with you while you're at this company. You can have a nice exit. Because they made a point that Chapek didn't even get to resign, like do the usual.
But
I want to spend more time with my family, blah, blah, have an easy way out. Instead, they just cut him. Yeah.
Again, you're making sense, and that's not reality here. The reality
Who would take the job then? You're going to
he has already handpicked his successor, and she is going to do everything he says. This time, he's getting it right. He's putting his puppet in place, and he's not going anywhere.
Well, good luck, Disney.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting year. There could be a buyout. Who knows?
It'd be funny if it was by a certain Elon Musk. That'd be funny. But anyway.
Well, he may be involved.
It actually went into the whole Perlmutter thing too in this article too.
Oh yeah,
on that in there too. Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. Here we go. PS5
Did you like my snooty little circling the base and saying this is not included?
Yeah, that was funny. It's just, I'm sorry. Let's read the article. It's from Smash JT, but he's not the only one talking about this.
Right.
Everyone's talking about this. And I don't care what side of the political fence they're on in the gaming community. Nobody liked this announcement. Nobody.
Smash JT is the one that I follow, but I have seen a whole lot of other sites that talk about gaming saying exactly the same thing he is. You are charging us, what is it, $700?
$699.99, not $700.
Okay. $700 for this. And what does it give you? Slightly better graphics.
Let me read.
No base to stand it up on. So this is extra. Like false advertising. Come
on now.
And no disk drive.
What the heck?
Why everyone is saying, then what do I need this for? I can just get a PC.
Why isn't the base included, period, on all the PS5s?
I know.
You need it to stand the console up. You also need it if you put it on its side. How do you... What am I supposed to put some old newspapers under there to prop it up? I mean, what is... Okay, Sony officially announced the PS5 Pro, a quote-unquote mid-generation upgrade that will hit the shelves on November 7th, 2024, with a price tag of a whopping $699.99. With this release, they're aiming to deliver smoother frame rates, higher display resolutions, and better ray tracing, promising a console that outperforms the original PS5 by leaps and bounds. However,
you know what a lot of people have pointed out? You know what else does that?
What?
A PC, and you can continue to upgrade a PC. You can't do that with a PS5.
This comes with all the upgrade you need. Okay, at $700 without a disk drive, but that's okay because all digital is now a feature.
There you go.
It's not a feature. You can have a console with a disk drive and still just have all digital games on it. If that's what you choose, you should give people the choice.
Yep.
A lot of game preservationists are getting very worried. They're thinking when PS6 comes out, it's going to be all digital. They think they're going to start ditching discs, and they're not happy about this because you can buy a disk drive separately that you hook up to this, I guess. But
then what people need to do is not buy a PS5 Pro.
I don't think anybody is going to buy it. Well,
start moving over to PC.
They said that this is for the enthusiast, the one that wants to spend this kind of money. You have to include the things that the enthusiast wants, like the disk drive, because he's going to have an existing library of PS4 and PS5 games, and he's going to want to play on this thing to the best quality, and then you're making him buy a separate disk drive. Okay, at $700 without disk drive, the PS5 Pro costs as much as a decent gaming PC, a PC that's upgradable, future-proof, and even if the eye-watering price point wasn't enough, Sony's decided to charge an additional $80 USD fee for separate 4K Blu-ray disc drive.
Yep.
Well, okay, yeah, that disc drive isn't included in the base price. That's a joke. That's a joke. It
absolutely is.
I also, this isn't in this article too, but I've never said this. I hate the aesthetics of the PS5. I hate this weird shell thing, clamshell thing on the outside. I don't like the way the console looks. And I was hoping with the Pro that they might make it look more like a standard game console of old.
It looks exactly the same with just more stripes on the side.
Do you know I've owned a PlayStation 2, a PlayStation 3, and a PlayStation 4, and they were never the original models. They were always the later gen versions. I had a PS2 Slim, which was the smaller model. I had the PlayStation 3 Slim, which I actually thought had a great design to it. It was matte finish, not glossy, because I hate glossy finishes on electronics. Don't get me started. I'm looking at you, Nintendo Wii.
We haven't gotten to Ubisoft yet. Darkwood Presents.
We're getting there.
Welcome, by the way.
If Xbox was smart, they are not, but what are you saying? Sorry. Xbox was smart. They should rush out a new console with the power of PC with a built-in disc drive for $500 and clean up. Yeah, well, they're doing their own stuff. They're also doing the stuff without the disc drives. I think their newest Xbox that they came out, their upgrade also doesn't have a disc drive, but nobody cared because Xbox is just people want to still like PlayStation.
I think we're looking at the end of the consoles. I think that's what's happening here. I'm sorry, because everyone is now starting to think.
Okay, sorry.
Everyone is starting to think exactly what I said and what Smash JT said. Why am I doing this when for the same amount of money I can get an infinitely upgradable PC and I can play all these different games, not just locked into the ones that you put out.
Well, here's the funny thing, though. Sony and Xbox, these used to be console exclusive games, but even Sony puts its games on PCs now. Concord was a PC game. I gotta say something, though. I was going to buy this until you got rid of Concord, so now I'm not interested. I wanted to pay $700 to play Concord, but now that you got rid of it,
they're starting to find out. Just like it's like the streaming model. right? When you go to streaming, you have to hope that people will get your exclusive stream service because they want your thing that badly. Whereas before the streaming model, you could license it to anybody for, a period of time and be making money all the time. So now Sony is seeing that. They're going, well, I can make this exclusive for a little while, but then I can license it to the PC market and I can, here,
Yeah, I guess. But then it's a PC.
What's wrong with that?
Infinitely
upgradable.
I'm a console gamer.
That's a damn shame.
Dinosaur. No, it's not a shame because Nintendo is still, well, I guess.
You like the little controls, do you? Guess what? You can use those on your PC as well.
Anyway, it's funny. He mentions 80 terabytes traditional HDD space. Well, this system has 2 terabytes of hard drive space on it. Actually, I'm not, in their defense, I'll say it's good that it has 2 terabytes because a lot of the new systems come with 1 terabyte. What can you do with 1 terabyte? What are you doing, people? Yeah. You want an all digital system and you give no hard drive space. Well, I figure you could just delete the game when you're done with it and download another one. No, I want everything available all at once. Everything everywhere all at once. That's my motto. I paid for it. I want it. Don't care how, I want it now. This is why I didn't. $700 for a console without a disk drive is such a bad idea. Nobody likes this. Nobody.
Jesse points out that streaming services suck. Yeah, and in my opinion, so do consoles. I stand by my analogy. Okay. Y'all, you who never used last console was an Atari. Yeah. For being honest here. I grew up with consoles. Of course, Atari kind of predated home computers. So, well, they actually started the home computer thing. They kind of did, yeah. But then what was the next thing I got? Commodore. So I know. And I played all my games on it. I like console games. Here's what I like about console games. I think that they're easier to use. At least they were until they started trying to make them like PCs. The idea behind a console was, too, people forget this, is that a console is supposed to be cheaper than buying a high-end PC to play your games on. So, yeah, you're not going to get you're not going to get quite the level of graphics you get on a PC. But they're still going to be good enough for you, and it'll be a lot cheaper. Do you know what the PlayStation 4 Pro cost me? The Spider-Man themed red and white console that came with Spider-Man the game plus the season pass. You know what that set me back? $399. Yeah, that's $300 less than this. And I know it was a few years back before the inflation went nuts, but still. This should have been $500 minimum. They should have included a disk drive. This is ridiculous. Or $600 minimum. I don't know. What do I know? What do I know? No, Boomer, I have an Xbox S and it has no disk drive and it came with it. I didn't have to buy an add-on. I have the Xbox and it has. You mean the Xbox? Which Xbox? The Xbox One S or the Xbox? Because the Xbox One S I have. I like that console. That has a disk drive in it. I really like that one. Didn't have to buy an add-on. I know with Microsoft now, though, is they have the Xbox Series. Maybe their new one did come with a disk drive, but I know that the Series S didn't. The Series X did. If that's confusing you enough. And then there was another one they had coming out. I don't even know if it's out yet. That I think didn't have a disk drive release was being predicted, but whatever. I'm talking. I don't know. I'm just bored. Yeah, NES. Yes, can I go back in time to the NES when I was? I like the Nintendo Switch though, but some would argue, well, that's not really a console. That's a portable that you hook up to your TV. Well. It's like I call it a hybrid system because you can play it on the go. You can also hook it up to your TV. You don't buy a PC as is. You buy it in parts and put it together. Yes, I know. I got plenty of people that PC game. And frankly speaking, I guess with Steam Decks now, why not just buy a Steam Deck then at the rate we're going if you like console gaming? I don't know. Well, they announced that there won't be any new Xbox consoles. Oh, well, that's great. Microsoft is just giving up. I don't understand it. They're basically saying, go buy a PC. And Sony with this, I don't know what they're doing. It never should have left Japan. They should have kept the business over there. They sent it over to California and everything's gone to pot. I have no interest in the Pro. I already have a PS5. What do I even need it for? I can at least play my PS4 games till a PS5 game when it comes out. Yeah, because it's not like you can even convert your PS4 physical games into digital copies if you wanted to. So what do you do with those games?
you can't play them ever again. I mean, you can buy them digitally off the store. No one's thinking any of this stuff through because they don't care.
Yeah.
Ninja, Last Ninja Collection brings 7 retro games to Switch in 2025.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Switch. Yeah.
Probably going to come to PC and other consoles that may or may not exist in the future as well. But anyway, you know what the Last Ninja is? This was on Commodore 64.
Yeah, but I don't think I had it.
Okay. Kids, back in the day, every gaming system had its Ninja series. Nintendo had Ninja Gaiden. Sega had Shinobi series. TurboGrafx 16 had Ninja Spirit. Everything was about ninjas back in the 80s. All right. It was a big thing. Okay. So anyway, let's move on from the PS5 Pro. It makes me sad. This was their last moment to sell me, and they messed up.
And they blew it. Yeah.
The Last Ninja Collection Kickstarter campaign went live earlier, and in less than an hour, it reached its funding target. It means the collection is officially on the way to the Nintendo Switch in 2025. It brings together every Last Ninja title across the Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, and Commodore Amiga. This includes the different versions of each game along with this. I like it when they do that. I like having different versions of the same game. That's cool. Along with this, there are also some bonus titles, including the International Karate Games and Bangkok Nights, a tribute to the golden era of computer gaming that brings together 7 iconic titles for the first time with exclusive memorabilia. This is more than a collection. It's a celebration of gaming history and the preservation of pioneering games from the 80s and 90s. Full lineup is Last Ninja, Last Ninja 2, Last Ninja 3, Ninja Remix, which I assume is a remake of Last Ninja for the 16-bit systems. International Karate from 1985. You like that? You get to go into a karate tournament, huh?
Yeah.
IK Plus on the Commodore 64 Amiga. And Bangkok Nights, I don't know what that is from the Commodore 64 and Amiga. But I guess they figured that Last Ninja games weren't enough for a whole collection, so let's throw in some extra titles. I'm on board with this. I guess you can sign up for the Kickstarter or maybe wait until it gets released on the storefronts. But yeah, okay, I'm on board.
I did like the comment from Darkwoods Presents. I can emulate the PlayStation hardware on PC. There are emulators. I can buy a controller that emulates the PS controller of the day. Absolutely. Nice. But on this particular topic, Geek Flag says, who gives a rat's ass about the Switch?
I do. It's my favorite console now, Geek Flag.
But like you said, it's probably going to be available on PC, so, maybe we won't be having a Switch.
Some Switch games that haven't been released yet are available on PC, too. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I didn't say that. No, they made a joke that apparently the new Zelda game is now popping up. Nintendo needs a Switch 2 already because there's too much piracy on that console. But you know what? No, here's what it is. You either like Nintendo games or you don't. I realize this. What?
Geek Flag with Nate knows Bangkok Nights. Didn't that movie star Nina Hartley and Asia Carrera? I'll have to look that up.
I'm not going to pretend I know who those are. Anyway, I do. But anyway, let's move on.
You're not going to pretend you don't know.
I'm not going to pretend I don't know who those are. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on to Ubisoft.
Rest in peace, Asia Carrera, by the way.
Well, here we're going to talk about games that you can buy on your PCs or consoles, except for Nintendo. They're not in that one. Quit teasing. Let's move on. You want to go into Ubisoft. You like Ubisoft?
I thought I had put this in the who's.
You might have, and maybe I just
Ubisoft is we may have to be talking about Ubisoft in the past tense.
Ubisoft mentorship program Ubisoft discriminates against males based on their sex. I thought that's because they're inherently evil and we don't want them hired. An Ubisoft mentorship program titled "Develop at Ubisoft" appears to discriminate based on one's sex. On the official website, the developer says, "At Ubisoft, we want to build the most creative, diverse, and inclusive teams, and that's exactly what development at Ubisoft is all about: empowering and supporting underrepresented genders." Then it clearly states the program provides mentorship opportunities for women and non-binary individuals, students or fresh graduates with less than 2 years of experience, interested in video games, develop their skill set in game design and program. We want to empower you to learn, grow, and become the very best developer you can be. The program is open to candidates from the United States of America, which one would assume it has to follow U.S. law, which prohibits discrimination based on sex, something Ubisoft is clearly doing with this mentorship program. So, yeah.
See, but what everyone forgets, you can believe that you're
what's an underrepresented genders plural?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. After 1972, the Equal Employment Opportunity Act made it illegal to show preference for any race, gender, belief system, anything. See, therein lies the problem. I don't care what you believe, how good you think you're being, what being on the right side of history. Sorry. EEOC Act of 1972. You will get sued into oblivion. Congratulations. This can end your business.
Well, Darkwoods, from the sound of it, it's like no men of any race are welcome here. That's what it's sounding like.
Exactly.
They're trying to find new frontiers of,
Well, no. It's not all men, right? If you're gay or non-binary or you're transifying yourself.
No, I think if you're a man that identifies as a different gender, then you're okay. That's what it sounded like.
Exactly.
Not even if you're a gay man, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's move on because I didn't want to spend because we just have an Ubisoft smorgasbord here. That's okay. We get this lovely video game character to look at again.
Yeah.
This next article.
Because I think I know why they keep using the same picture over and over again. They're kind of reminding you this is
not a game I want to play.
Yeah.
Inclusion does not mean straight white. Yeah, usually it doesn't, Darkwood. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ubisoft stock price dropped 7% as company faces pressure from investors to take company private. Ubisoft, the company behind Star Wars Outlaws, X-Defiant, Assassin's Creed, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, saw its stock price drop 7% in a single day as it faces pressure from investors to take the company private, as well as reports of saw sales for Star Wars Outlaws. They're fending off this stuff now.
There's actually a number of articles that we didn't pull in because this was more general, but there's a lot of articles putting a very fine point on it that Star Wars Outlaw has done so bad that it alone may destroy Ubisoft.
They have Assassin's Creed Shadows still coming out. That one sounds more controversial.
Yeah,
as far as the hate goes, I think that one's going to do
worse. That's just great. I mean, that's just a final nail in the coffin. Then,
specifically, it fell over 7% in the past day, according to Yahoo Finance. The stock price has declined over 16% in the past 5 days. It's down over 41% in the last 3 months and nearly 30% in the last 6 months. In the last year, the company's stock price is down over 50%. In the last 5 years, it has declined over 81%. That's bad, right? That sounds. The most recent stock drop in the wake of Star Wars Outlaws reportedly having soft sales, as well as Slovakian investment from AJ Investments urging the company to go private. Later goes on to say, on top of it looks like poor sales, AJ Investments sent an open letter to the board of directors of Ubisoft urging the company to go private or sell to a strategic investor. In the letter, the investment firm specifically took issues with Ubisoft's lowering of its revenue outlook for the second quarter when Star Wars Outlaws released. The firm wrote, the recent quarterly results, which include the postponement of key games like Rainbow Six Siege and the Division into 2025 lineup and a lowered revenue outlook for the quarter to 2024, have heightened our concerns about the management's ability to deliver value to shareholders over the long term. Share prices of Ubisoft have decreased more than 40% over the last year compared to rise of its competitors and indexes. I want you to think about something else with these Ubisoft games we're talking about. Rainbow Six, that's Tom Clancy. They don't own that. They own the rights to use Tom Clancy's material, but they have to pay for those rights.
Yep.
They have to pay for the rights to make the Star Wars game. Anyway, it goes on to say, in order to improve Ubisoft, the firm suggests the company be taken private by the Guillemot family and Tencent in order to allow the company to address its issues away from the public market pressures and make necessary changes without harming minority shareholders, retail investors, and pension funds that are victim of these efficiency problems and mismanagement by current leadership. They have a lot of
mismanagement. That is a great way to put it. And speaking of great way to put it, Matt Anui, I love the way you put this. Star Wars Outlaws looks straight mediocre. Yes, Yes, and that's just how it looks. But then when you get down to Darkwoods Presents comment, when you talk about the actual play, I watched Star Wars Outlaws live playthrough, and there are so many bugs, like 50 hours of restarted games. Yeah, I've heard a number of people say that there were key points in the game that are so broke you just can't advance. You cannot play the game.
Well, listen. Here's what you do: wait for the patches to come out and the bug fixes to come out, and then buy the game, and it'll be half off.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you something else. Why anyone is paying for pre-orders on these games? You're a fool at this point if you're still doing that. If you are pre-ordering this stuff and getting the game and then not able to play it, that's because you're a dumbass.
Well, here's what I'll say about pre-orders. Some companies you can trust pre-orders on, like Nintendo. They usually deliver with their games. I mean, I don't always pre-order stuff, but I'm usually confident that I can play the game at launch and there are not going to be any problems. A lot of Japanese companies are like this. Like, I think Capcom is usually pretty good, but it's just increasingly, though, I think they got too used to doing patching. When they started having internet-enabled consoles, they got used to having patches. Mm-hmm. And to the point where now games are released unfinished, and then they get patched day one. Like,
Fix it in post.
I bought the Spyro collection for the, I guess for the PlayStation, right? They did an HD remaster of the Spyro games, Activision did. And it had a huge download the first day, which means that the game is not on the disc. Part of the game is on the disc, and the rest I'm downloading on a day one patch. Do you understand? So it's ridiculous. But and then we're going to do the last one, I think. But yeah, they don't want, actually, did I have anything left to say about this? They urge that Ubisoft sell off a number of its studios. Ubisoft considers selling its studios that possess talent but are focused on non-core games, thereby allowing Ubisoft to streamline operations and focus on main IPs. I think Ubisoft employs 17,000 people. That's what I heard. That's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I do see them as a French-Canadian developer or French developer, but yeah, they're in trouble right now. Let's do the last one, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah. Wait, before you do, the last comment I wanted to highlight was Jesse Guajardo saying, "I'm sorry, an unfinished shit game is not worth any dollars, especially when the pre-order went as high as a couple of $100."
Oh, yeah, to get all the special season pass stuff that, the whole idea of doing season and DLC and all this stuff, this should be stuff released after the game is finished, and it's like a bonus, not something that's pre-planned
Folks,
from the original game.
Remember, you are the ones with the money. You decide what happens in the future. If you want to exert that power, stop buying shit. Don't let them pressure you. Don't let them call you istophobe if you don't buy it. You're a bad person if you don't buy it.
You're bad. You hate women.
Fear of losing out. Screw it all. Walk away. Put up both your middle fingers and say, I'm keeping my money. Things will change because they will go bankrupt. And you think, oh, well, then we'll never get another this, we'll never get another that. Bullshit. Another company will show up and put out the thing. Whatever the thing is that you want.
We like things that we like. Baldur's Gate 3 developer appears to blast Ubisoft's pricing of Star Wars Outlaws while also explaining why he thinks all games should cost more at a base level. All right, so whatever we thought about Baldur's Gate, especially with the certain bear scene, I will say that the game was very, very polished when it was released, and people thought the core game mechanics was good.
I do have to say one little joke about the whole bear thing. It's not even a joke. It's just an observation. For people that actually play Dungeons & Dragons, whether you're a teenage boy or an adult,
so this stuff comes up. This stuff comes up.
This kind of stuff happens in
so perhaps that's what they were trying to go for. You don't have to worry about it.
Like, there are splat books out there that are very adult.
Oh my goodness.
We can talk about it offline. It's kind of funny. I actually got one of these books, and my gaming group called it the creepy book. The creepy book. And yet there are some spells in it that they have used. Just gonna say.
Are there dark elves in these
They take everything.
Okay.
It's like an overlay for Dungeons & Dragons. So any race that you have, you can embellish the details of their society. Let's put it that way.
I always notice in fantasy anime, whenever they have dark elf women, they're always super hot.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
exactly.
Baldur's Gate 3 developers appeared to blast Ubisoft's pricing of Star Wars Outlaws. Okay, I already said this, but yeah, let me get into the article itself. Michael Ducey, if I'm saying his name right, the director of publishing at Larian Studios, recently blasted Ubisoft for how it priced Star Wars Outlaws, while suggesting that all games should cost more at base level. Ducey posted an image of Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws Ultimate Edition that costs $129.99 and Ronin X. I don't love the artificiality of pricing structures post-retail. Use the inflated base price to upsell a subscription and use vague content promises to inflate Ultimate Editions to make the base price look better. He added, it seems a bit dangerous and disconnected from the community. Okay, so he's saying that the base game should cost more. What's he saying here? I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I don't love the artificial pricing structure post-retail that use the inflated base price to upsell subscription and use vague content promises to inflate Ultimate Editions to make the base price look better. Okay. What do you think, Troy?
I think Ubisoft is done. And I think that the entire gaming industry is going to learn a very, very expensive lesson. A number of very, very expensive lessons, to be honest with you.
Only investments I have for Ubisoft games are the Brothers in Arms games, and I'm still waiting for Brothers in Arms 4. They should probably be rushing on that since people may actually want to buy it. I'm going to say this about Ubisoft. I remembered back in the okay, I'll look at that later, Troy. I'm sorry, it's not your private comment. Anyway, but I was I remember back in the 6th generation, the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox era, Ubisoft was one of my favorite publishers. They figured out a way to take Prince of Persia and they redid it as Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, and I think I liked it better than even the original PC original. I thought it was clever how you had this reverse time mechanic, because of course the whole thing about Prince of Persia was how easy it was to die in that game. But with this game, you got a second do-over, and it was built into the game mechanic, and it was brilliant. And I miss those games. They keep telling us they're going to remake that game. I don't know if I trust Ubisoft to remake it now. I think
they may not last long enough to do it.
I think they're done. They need someone to get in there, and they've been a disaster for years right now. The last game I really liked from them was Rayman Legends, and apparently the guy that created that game left the company. So he got mad at them, I think, about something. So I don't know. It's just done. I don't know. Okay, moving on. House of the
Yeah, something else to complain about, and that's George R.R. Martin.
Yes.
Well, let's get through this one before we jump on him for the next one.
Oh, for the love of Mike! I'm sorry.
I know.
Or for the love of George in this case, I guess I should say.
I guess.
Anyway, House of the Dragon and Rings of Power facing epic headaches. Call the banners.
Shocking.
And muster the dragons. There is trouble in the kingdoms. HBO's big budget fantasy epic House of the Dragon and Amazon's even bigger budget fantasy epic Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power are encountering a hailstorm of catapulted projectiles. I'm sure for the price of this one season of Rings of Power, we could have gotten a completed Outer Range series, right? Just saying.
Yeah.
For Rings, the issue is familiar. The $715 million series, which debuted 2 years ago to strong ratings and fandom discord, unveiled the first 4 episodes of its new season. The consensus is this new run is firmly an improvement, but some critics and fans maintain it's not as strong as it should be. Many contrast the show to Peter Jackson's Oscar-winning trilogy, and how can you not, even though that saga arguably set an impossibly high bar for the prequel series to follow. But it's not a prequel to that. Never mind. Okay, the show's Rotten Tomatoes scores are similar to the first season, a very good 83% among critics, a disappointing 58% among fans, some percentage of whom seem angrily determined to watch every episode while simultaneously insisting the show is unwatchable, helping feed a cottage industry of rings-bashing content creators. You bad people out there, you. We're not affiliated with you. I'm kidding. As for the Rings ratings, third-party services show a steep drop from the series debut season. The spin from Amazon goes like this: of course the ratings are down. They were so huge last time. There is something to this. Even Prime Video hits like Fallout and The Boys haven't matched Rings season 1 on a global basis. Fallout did top the show in the United States because people like that show.
Yeah.
Anyway, Amazon says the new season is doing well internationally, is on track to be a top 5 season for Prime Video. The company also said 40 million viewers worldwide had watched at least some of the first 3 new Rings of Power episodes through the sophomore season's first 11 days. The company did not make clear, however, how much of the season or an episode those 40 million people viewed. Mm-hmm. A third season has been in the works for months, though it has not been officially green-lighted. After seeing season 2's premiere ratings, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter the company remains committed to the show's original 5-season plan. Oh, they're going to finish this thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they got money to burn over there, I guess. There is House of the Dragon, whose problems are more interesting. The second season incensed some fans after spending 8 episodes, leading to a massive cliffhanger, a climactic battle sequence that was pushed from a shortened season 2 to season 3, apparently for budget reasons, which has led to more David Zaslav ruins everything chatter online. In the ratings, the season dipped about 10% from the show's first season, but the numbers do remain high. 2 weeks ago, the saga author and Dragon co-creator, executive producer George R. Martin, who has been complimenting about Dragon in the past year, posted on his blog that he was going to reveal everything that's gone wrong with the show. Smart money could have been wagered on this never happening. Surely HBO would do everything in its power to persuade Martin not to post. But last week, Martin did. And the result was fascinating. A candid rundown of his concern, which you can find a link to in the article, about the removal of a young character in the show, in his view, has already led to a key sequence being weakened in the second season and will cause greater creative issues in seasons 3 and 4. The post included some...
Just a note on that. Yeah. We were talking about this last night during the watch party on Dune Part 1. Yeah. And I said, little changes you make now have big repercussions down the line with these franchises.
Yep. For starters, there was a missing character in Dune Part 2 who's still in her mother's womb. But anyway, the post included some of his discussions with Ryan Condell, who became sole showrunner in season 2 after Miguel Sapochnik's the partner, and tipping to what showrunner has planned for the next season. Martin's post vanished within a few hours. Why do you think that happened?
They probably pulled out a contract and said, you got to work with us or you're in breach of contract.
An HBO insider said executives were frustrated but not surprised. Martin and HBO have been increasingly at loggerheads, with the author privately making his concerns known for a while. The network also issued a statement saying it supports Condell's extraordinary work. Condell addressed the matter in a podcast in a rather heartfelt-sounding way. He basically amounted to, "We are trying the very best we can, and adapting this material is insanely hard. It's full of impossible choices." A sentiment the showrunners of Game of Thrones would certainly raise a glass to.
It's not an impossible choice. What you do is you extend out the series, whatever it takes to get all the details in there. You don't have to squeeze it all into one season. This is the problem. As soon as you take shortcuts, people notice, they stop liking it. You're left with an empty bag, you dumbasses. And we'll get into it more with the next article. But this issue that George R.R. Martin and HBO is having, well, he needs to stop. We'll get to it with the next article.
Amazon should have worked with Peter Jackson to make Rings of Power. Yeah. That makes
sense. But they don't have the rights to anything that Peter Jackson could work with.
People are confused about the Amazon Rings of Power series, and I'll admit I might even be wrong in this. But
you kept saying that you keep thinking
this is not related to the New Line Lord of the Rings movies,
and this is also not in any way related to the Silmarillion. They don't have the rights to the Silmarillion either. They have rights to the
appendices.
And if you were to look at the appendices, you'd be like, how do you make a story out of this? Well, you can't. They're just making up bullshit. But they're not staying constrained by the other stuff that's out there.
Did Amazon theoretically have the rights to do a series based on Lord of the Rings, the main story?
I don't think so.
I kept thinking they did, but they chose not to because the movies were so beloved, and I guess people still
no,
really
I don't think
anymore.
They do. I think they only had the rights to the appendices. I mean, and that would be like, man, can you imagine if you were to do something with Dune and all you had the rights to was the book that came out in the 70s, the encyclopedia? How the hell do you tell a story based on it? You can't.
I think Ubisoft. I think HBO is doing a series like that's supposed to be a Dune prequel series, right? That's like about the sisters or something. I saw a trailer.
And if they have the rights to the and from what I understand, this is how they're taking direct inspiration from the Brian Herbert and I'm forgetting his co-author, the books that they put out. Then fine. Nothing wrong with that. You know, those books exist, and if you want to adapt them, fine. You know, but this is made up bullshit that has nothing to do with anything Tolkien.
The problem with House of the Dragon is ruining Alice Ness and Rhaenyra by turning them into modern people instead of Middle Ages dynasties who pursue their own interests. Now, I've not read the Game of Thrones books. I did watch the original series, and one thing I did make a point that even though they would have gay characters on the show, it was in a medieval setting, so they couldn't be out about it.
Actually,
otherwise there'd be
to be
bad
honest with you,
consequences.
The funny thing is, I have read the books. And there are gay characters in the books. Yes. They are overtly gay, and they're not depicting them.
Well, I don't know. I know that the main culture.
It's like it's right there. People just do it.
Anyway, I'm surprised there isn't a studio head aren't getting involved with how cancel how bad these films and put their writers and directors on notice. I don't know what's going on. I have a feeling. I can't speculate on Zaslav. I don't know what his modus operandi is. I thought he was trying to build the company up so they could sell it, but I don't know if that's what he was over there for.
Yeah,
like I know a lot is banking on Superman.
We always try to imagine, you know, what would we do if we were, but we're not in their position. They are not motivated by the same things that the fans are. If it was simple business rules, give the fans what they want, we will make money, most of the things you guys are thinking would make sense. But as Boomer just pointed out, sometimes they're just thinking about selling the product. Sometimes they're looking at licensing deals. Sometimes they're looking at the restrictions of other contracts and so forth. So it doesn't always make sense. And once you start finding these things out, you realize why this stuff is a bunch of crap.
Peter Gunn Superman hard pass, and you meant James Gunn. I would say Peter Gunn Superman might be interesting.
Yeah, James Gunn. Dun, 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 dun. Superman. Yes. Superman.
Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin says he's not made much Winds of Winter progress lately as TV shows ate up time.
Yeah. So first I'm calling bullshit. He's a lazy fuck, and he's going to be dead before he ever gets to putting out another book. Okay. But, and secondly, he's just sitting back and collecting the licensing dollars, which leads back to the last article when he puts out something that he's pissed off about, and they come with a contract and say, we got a licensing agreement with you, and you're in breach of that. Oh, sorry. I'll pull that. My bad. Because I want to keep the money coming in. Even though it's shit and I don't like it, I'll keep taking that money. Because then when the article says that there's, friction between HBO and Martin should just say, you know what? Screw it. I'm done. I'm not, no more contract with you. I don't want you putting out my stuff anymore. I'm just going to go write this book and put it out and make a crap ton of money on the sequel book, and you have nothing to do with it. But he's not going to do that because he's a lazy fuck.
Let's read the article a little bit so we can hear him defend himself.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones creator George R. Martin said he's been making little progress lately with the Song of Ice and Fire book. The infamously delayed Winds of Winter, as his various TV shows ate up most of his time. Martin shared the update in a blog post where he discusses his mounting stress levels. The first half of the year was pretty miserable, Martin said, before explaining to a close friend died suddenly in January. Nor did I find much solace in my work, he added. Writing came hard, and though I did produce some new pages for both Winds of Winter, yes, and Blood and Fire, the sequel to Fire and Blood, the second part of my Targaryen history, I would have liked to turn out a lot more. My various television projects ate up most of those months. Some of that was pleasant, Dark Winds and The Hedge Knight. Most of it was not. The stress kept mounting. The news went from bad. How many shows is he involved in?
Yeah, there's some other ones that are not Game of Thrones related.
Okay, but the Dark Winds is not based on his writings. That's another author from the 70s that wrote a book about a Navajo sheriff who, it was a detective book series, and
maybe he's doing some script doctoring on it or something.
Maybe that's what it is, because I know he was seen as a producer on it. I figured they just slapped his name on there because, put George R. Martin's. Oh, that's a Game of Thrones guy. I'll watch this show, but I didn't think he was that involved with it. I thought he was just a producer. And from bad to worse, my mood seemed to swing between fury and despair. And at night, I tossed and turned when I should have been sleeping. When I did sleep well, my dreams were none too pleasant either. It's unclear which show TV Martin meant exactly. And he works on many silver screen projects beyond those related to Game of Thrones. But the author recently expressed frustration over House of the Dragon. Is he involved with House of the Dragon?
Apparently so, yeah.
Maybe that's what he's angry about. Song of
well,
Ice.
and again, with the shadow of what we were just talking about in the previous article, I would say that's a big part of it. He's really not happy with the way things are going there.
Yeah. Song of Ice and the Fire must be disappointed to hear the lack of Winds of Winter. However, especially after hearing practically the same thing in 2023, the same number he'd given a year earlier, there's plenty of work to be done without actually increasing the page total, of course. What's the chat saying? Let me see. Troy, I like seeing him asking for a chocolate cake and for the baker to sign someone else and make a fruit cake instead. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly.
There we go. Maybe you could get Neil Gaiman's work on the book as a ghostwriter. I'm sorry.
Nate says, George R. Martin ain't doing nothing but getting fatter. Yeah, it's true.
Weight becomes harder to lose as you get older, people. So just watch yourself.
Actually, I had forgotten that was true, Curtis. He had done Beauty and the Beast back in the 80s, and honestly, I loved it.
Oh, he did a lot of writing. He's been doing a lot of writing his whole life. Yeah, I mean,
keep in mind that was not an adaptation of anything. That was an original series that was going real well. Then he stepped away from it, and other people took over. And it kind of started to go to shit. Sound familiar? It happens over and over again. I'm getting
sick of Game of Thrones BS getting into everything. Yeah, I don't know. We go with whatever is popular in the news lately.
I will tell you, this is another one of those examples where you love a book series, you want to see it translated into a series. It starts out good, you're hopeful. They compromise a little bit, and you're like, well, maybe it'll still be, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. And it's like, just screw it. I don't want to watch any of this anymore. I just want to read the books. Oh, I can't do that anymore because now the fat man is too busy working on his movies and TV shows.
I'm getting done with TV shows in general.
I know.
Maybe I'm trying to. Fallout, I'm watching them. That's my new show I started. I do like the actress on that, actually.
Fallout?
Yeah.
Another Kyle MacLachlan project, by the way.
Yeah.
He's never been involved in anything I didn't like, and I haven't seen him say any stupid bullshit on the interwebs, so just saying.
Because he's a professional and just wants to act.
What he wants to do is he wants to act, make his money, and then go hang out in his vineyards. I like that guy. I really, really do.
Make good characters, make good stories, and no one will care what they identify as. Keep a gag on the political views of actors and watch.
I'm sorry. There was a comment. I can't attribute it to. Oh, no, I can. It's still up there. Dark Woods Presents says gay people and women characters aren't the problem. They want the government subsidy for LGBTQ products. And again, I'm going to point out that's fine. There were a bunch of. There's plenty of gay in A Song of Ice and Fire that they sidestepped to infuse other things. And it's like, why do it? It's already there. It's, you know, you don't have to change races of characters because there's already a diversity built into that show. You know?
Or it could be The Witcher, where the only good thing they did was to hire Henry Cavill, and then they push him away. And of course, Sashi, he's you're in Malaysia, right? If I'm not mistaken, and you're just watching anime right now. Yeah, because I mean, this is why anime is becoming more popular over here as well. So our Korean dramas, even British stuff. Well, it seems to be better. I don't know.
Curtis, I am glad that I stuck to my guns because I had heard everybody saying, "Oh no, this oh, you're talking about Rings of Power." I'm sorry. I was thinking of this. What is the dragon show? The prequel to Game of Thrones.
House of the Dragon.
Yeah, House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying it was so great. It was so great. It was wonderful. This is, you know, a real change. And then I said, you know, I'm not doing it anymore. I am not picking up a show that in the third season it's going to turn to shit.
I'm waiting for it to be finished. That's what I was complaining.
Exactly. Yeah. And sure enough, by the end of the season, people are complaining about it. I'm like, well, I'm glad I didn't waste my time.
Where people hated The Boys this season. Like, it really got, like, overtly political. Like, it used to be like they would make fun of both sides, even when it did at politics. Now they're just going full on.
Welcome, Logical Spark. Good to see you.
But yeah. I know I would say too much about but contact.
Can we end on a high note tonight?
Yes. No, especially after the events of today. Yes, we want to end on a high note.
Absolutely. I like this.
I thought you would. Superman, the Christopher Reeve story.
Yep.
A full documentary, which is actually in theaters now, too. It got a theatrical release.
Good.
This is a documentary about Christopher Reeve. The life of Christopher Reeve is being showcased on the big screen in the new eye-opening documentary Super /Man, the Christopher Reeve story. The documentary had its world premiere at the Sundance Film Festival in January, where it was acquired by Warner Brothers Discovery for $15 million. Now the film will be released theatrically in a 2-night special screening through Fathom Events, with the first night being on September 21st and September 25th. What would have been Reeve's 72nd birthday? They love Superman stars. The beloved Superman stars children, Matthew 44, Alexandra 40, and Will 32, speak about their father's life in a new interview with People. They reveal that the actor's life is laid bare in this unflinching documentary that reveals sides of their father most hadn't seen before he passed from heart failure in 2004 at just 52. Heroism is, it goes later on to say, heroism is so much more than a superficial strength and the glossy image Will said of his father's legacy. It's about integrity, showing up for your family, persevering through hard circumstances, and still having that joy for life. That was our dad, he said. The film gives a rare glimpse into his life behind the scenes, including his complicated relationship with his professor father and leaving his partner, Gay Exton, who he shared his first 2 kids, Matthew and Alexandra, with. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful thing to be able to see the full picture of a person's life, says Alexandra, who now sits on the board of of the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. Mm-hmm. So, I love that. Look at that cover. Look at that poster. Is that the actual poster?
That is good.
I think it is. That looks great, huh?
That is good. And did you like? I put the picture of the brother and sister today, and the picture of their father holding them up like they're flying as kids.
That's great. Oh man, I do miss Christopher Reeve Superman. There have been many actors who play Superman I like, but I think Reeve is the most iconic.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Honestly, I've liked every actor who's played Superman. I haven't liked all of the incarnations of Superman. The writing hasn't always been good.
But I haven't hated all the actors,
But every one of the actors I have liked. Yes.
I don't know anything about this new actor they have playing him. I mean, Warner Brothers, you trying to get me excited for this movie coming out?
I struggle with the guy's name. When you got a name like Corn Sweat, it's like,
you're joking.
What are we getting in? No.
Dude, this is why we have stage names.
I know, right?
It's okay to have a stage name, Like I think 2 different actresses had the name Elizabeth Banks, so the one changed her name because Plus, she was also an attractive blonde woman. So
Michael J. Fox did the same thing. There was already Michael Fox, but he added the J.
You change your names, do something. But Corn Sweat.
Yeah,
Corn Sweat. Cornsfelt.
And you know what?
Cornsfelt. Put an L in there. There we go. There's your stage name.
Darth Plato points out that Cornsweat was hired because he looks similar to Cavill. That's
and why
fine.
Not Cavill? I don't understand this.
Fine, but if you're a professional actor, maybe think about that name,
Yeah, which is dumb. Just keep Cavill. I agree. I didn't understand it. Plus, they're keeping Amanda Waller actress. So
that is the biggest problem I have. It's like either make a clean break or don't. It's ridiculous.
Like I was okay if they were rebooting, but you could always keep the same actors. Especially if they were.
I do understand their thinking. I'm not saying I agree with it, but they're thinking, well, they're going to think this is part of the Snyderverse if we keep the same main actor. Okay, I get that, but then you need to do that with everyone.
Yeah, they're not getting rid of Peacemaker.
You don't keep Peacemaker. You don't keep Amanda Waller. You can cast your wife as someone else.
It's ridiculous. I have a bad feeling about the Superman movie.
Actually, Jesse, I would say at this point, if you're a Cavill fan, you don't want him back. You want him to go do his own thing.
I want him as James Bond.
Stay the hell away from this crap that keeps getting culturally vandalized, because that just hurts him.
Everything.
I do feel like him walking away from The Witcher and walking away from, well, I don't know about Warhammer, but he knows what's right and wrong, and he walks away from it when they start to, culturally vandalize this stuff, and to the fans that builds his respect. But he should just, at this point, I think if you are a serious actor in the entertainment industry, I know your instinct is I'll take any paying job, and these franchise films are big money. Stay away from Marvel, stay away from Disney, stay away from Star Wars, stay away from all this bullshit. Star Trek for sure. All this stuff is on fire. It's like, well, I know this is the hottest spot in town, pun intended. That's why I'm going there. Okay, well, you're going to burn to death. Stay away from that stuff. Go do your own thing. Who you should talk to? Go talk to Ryan Reynolds. Say, you making any movies anytime soon? I'll be in it.
There you go.
No, it doesn't have to be a superhero thing. I'll be in a romantic comedy with your wife.
Yeah, women do really like Cavill. You're right. I thought he would have been perfect for James Bond, but I guess the producers of that series felt otherwise.
Yeah, they want to go with the twink instead.
I don't know who they're going with yet, but I don't know. There's a rumor who it's going to be, but
yeah.
Let him go back to building PCs on YouTube. I'd support him. Yeah, funny. Yeah, there you go. Don't buy a PS5. Just get Henry Cavill to build you a gaming PC. Right?
He could throw it. Charging it. He could do a markup of $100 by
probably do it cheaper than Sony selling it for. Right?
Yeah, right. Right.
All right, but I think that's a good place to end it. I do want to watch that Christopher Reeve documentary, so we'll see if I don't have a chance to catch it in theaters. Hopefully, it'll be on HBO.
Guys, don't go anywhere because this time I got it right.
Yes.
So you will be auto-dramatically forwarded to deleted scenes, other side of midnight from here. It won't actually be starting until for about another 50 minutes or so, but it gives you time to go get yourself something to eat, top off your drink, hit the head and come back. But this time I did it right. You'll be going to Deleted Scenes channel, where I will also be. I'll be joining him on the panel, and I don't know who else is going to be there, but we'll find out.
It's all history who will be on.
Mm-hmm.
I got to work in the morning though.
Oh, yeah. Unlike George Martin, right?
Work is the curse of the drinking class. Well, Martin's tossing and turning,
Yeah, he can't sleep because he's so bothered by things that he won't actually do anything about. That is totally within his ability to do something about.
Okay, so we got? So we got 5 after the other side of midnight, 5 after midnight. You can check out the Deleted Scenes channel. If you're on my channel, there was a link in the description to his after show too. That Troy put in there. So yeah, you're all set. And then tomorrow night you're going to be doing
Tomorrow night is Off the Record on the QT, and very, very hush hush.
You were doing a rewatch.
LA Confidential. Yeah.
LA Confidential.
A movie that I've had on my list for far too long. I need to watch it. And thankfully, Deleted Scenes will be joining me as the subject matter expert. It is just the one that we'll be doing. It's not a double feature tomorrow, but I'm still starting at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
I noticed that in the chat when you said you hadn't seen it, and Deleted Scenes says, what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those movies. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's one of those movies or give you a high expectation, but it's one of those movies I have to admit is probably perfect.
Yeah.
It's just the score, the soundtrack, the actors, everyone working at the top of their game. Danny DeVito is great in it too.
Yep.
As the sleazy news tabloid journalist.
Yep.
So I'd be like a regular journalist now. I'm sorry. Wait.
I know, right?
But and then Tuesday we'll be on Sparkwood and 21 on the Deleted Scenes channel.
Yeah, I believe that we're on to part 12. But Twin Peaks: The Return. Come join us even if you've never seen Twin Peaks before. We'll help you get caught up. Watch along, do a deep dive on it. And then pretty much immediately after that, 10 o'clock Central, that would be 11 Eastern, starting a new series, watch party of Blake 7.
This will be the pilot episode?
It'll be the pilot episode, the way back. So you'll be starting right from the beginning. You've never seen it before. This is a great jumping on point.
Check it out.
And it's a classic British sci-fi series that not as many Americans know as they ought to.
Who wrote it? Who created it? It was Terry Nation.
That was Terry Nation. So those of you that are Doctor Who fans remember the Daleks? Yeah. Terry Nation created the Daleks, and he created the whole show of Blake 7.
I heard that. I could be wrong, but I thought I read somewhere that Terry Nation was also instrumental in creating MacGyver. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I could be wrong on that, but I thought I heard that too. Like he came over, like when he was done with his British stuff, he went over to the United States for a little bit. I think he helped with MacGyver. I could be wrong, but I thought I heard that.
But that will be the new show starting Tuesday night, right after Live from Sparkwood and 21. And looking forward to it. Hope you guys can join us.
Then Wednesday.
Is there something going on Wednesday?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. You smart.
You can catch on the streams you missed. Okay. Anyway,
exactly. That's right. Wednesday's a great day. If you missed anything up to then, you just get caught up, right?
And Netter's Network's Thursday Things on Thursday.
Yep. Where our Netter's special guest will be, surprise, surprise, Deleted Scenes. This is Deleted Scenes all week, all the time.
But the twist this time around is he's gonna have had about 5 shots of tequila right before.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Deleted Scenes. We're just kidding. We're just messing with you.
And yeah, that will be Thursday. Followed immediately by Deleted Scenes weekend update. Netter will auto-dramatically send you over to him so that you can find out what he's got coming up for the rest of the weekend.
Yes.
And then Friday night, what are we doing Friday night, Boomer?
We are doing Last Call, and we are going to be doing a topic. We're going to be doing remakes that turned out well and remakes we'd like to see. Usually remakes get a bum rap, but sometimes remakes are good. Keep in mind the Maltese Falcon with Humphrey Bogart. That was the third remake of the same thing.
That's a good point.
So
that is an excellent point.
It's not that the idea of remaking a movie or even readapting the same book is a bad idea. It's just that we get so many bad ones that it got a bad reputation. But we'll talk a bit about that on
Darkwood.
Friday.
I hope to see you every Friday. That is my drunk stream. So and who knows? Yeah, maybe we can get you on as a guest. That would be awesome.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
But Friday, I save the booze until Friday because I don't have to work on Saturday. But speaking of Saturday, Saturday over on Big Al Presents Films with Friends, I have to admit, I don't remember if I've seen this movie or not. I told him I will figure it out as we watch it together. Saturday at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big Al Presents Films with Friends. The movie is The Wraith with Charlie Sheen and Sherilyn Fenn.
I've not seen it. I do own it on DVD, and I think it'll be a good one. It's one of these movies on my to watch list at some point.
But, there is a video about the car from that movie on YouTube. It used to be owned by Jay Leno, and then he gave or sold it to who's the comedian with the puppets? Ahmed and the old man.
Is it Jeff something?
Jeff Dunham, yes.
Jeff Dunham, yes.
And Jeff Dunham owns it now, and so Jeff Dunham brings the car back because he had a restoration done on it. Well, I don't know if you'd even call it a restoration, a rebuild almost, because the car was one of the stunt cars from the movie, and it didn't have an engine, so they had to put an engine in it. And
holy cow, that's a lot of that shows dedication to a restoration.
Yeah, and you know who he had do it was the guys that do the cars for Fast and Furious.
Oh, excellent.
And so the car, and he's got an app on his phone that opens the engine compartment, and it opens the doors. And he said this interior isn't shown in the movie, so we had kind of carte blanche to do whatever we wanted with it. So this is all custom, you know. So I'll make sure that I drop the link for that during the rewatch on Saturday on Big Al's Films with Friends. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, so that sounds like a great time, and
that's Sunday, the week as I know it. Yeah, and then Sunday, just everything deleted scenes talked about on Thursday is what he'll be doing on Sunday.
And then we'll have Geeky Geezers again.
We'll be back here again.
I don't know what we'll be doing. Maybe Excalibur for good old days. Maybe we'll do Excalibur.
Okay.
To do a partner with Conan the Barbarian. Those are the two big ones. You've seen Excalibur, right?
Oh gosh, yes. Okay. Yes.
Helen Mirren.
Oh yeah.
As Morgan Le Fay. She was nice in that movie. Okay.
And that was really kind of my gateway drug to the Arthurian legends.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it was a great adaptation.
Had no idea until I read was it, I can't remember if it was The Once and Future King or if it was The Death of Arthur. But I think it was The Death of Arthur that I realized how much not only Excalibur, but the Disney's The Sword and the Stone really did take from the Legend of Arthur.
You know what I think? I think we'll do. We'll focus mainly on Excalibur. We can talk about King Arthur stuff in general, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, that might be an idea. Okay. Sounds like a plan. Catch y'all guys later. Be sure to tune in on Deleted Scenes channel after the stream is over.
Yep.
But it was great having you. I'm going to hit the end stream button.
It's sad,
but there's always another stream.
True.
Have a good night, y'all.